All right. What is up, everybody? It is Saturday. It is the weekend. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Hope you guys aren't getting too mad and drinking a lot, yelling at your coworkers like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Allegedly. Okay, so I don't 100% know that Marjorie Taylor Greene was drinking. I've just heard some things. I've read some articles, okay? In those articles, they brought up that maybe, just maybe, Marjorie or one of her Republican peers was drinking before the episode with Jasmine Crockett. I'm gonna say, at the end of the day, people sometimes they drink. And that's not. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not gonna stand up here and judge you. And if you're Marjorie Taylor Greene or any other right-wing Republican, you have just as much privilege to drink as any other person. But it seems like if you're gonna go into a committee where you're supposed to be making decisions, you might want to lay off the sauce. You might want to not get a little faded before making decisions for the country. Seems like that's a bad idea. What's up, Woke? What's up, Gnome? Oh man, I don't know what time it is where you guys are. What are you guys? East Coast, Central, West Coast? What time zone are you two in? I had all kinds of stuff to do today. Lots of fun stuff. I did figure out. Thanks, sweet baby, 6 pound, 4 ounce baby Jesus. I downloaded the episode of my interview with Richard Abel, re-downloaded it to edit it again since I had screwed up and accidentally deleted it. And luckily, it just went right into. I used Wondershare Filmora for editing. It went right into it, and just put it right back to the way it was. So that was a good feeling because that was a couple hours of my life. Central. Okay, what is that? That's an hour? Yes, I'm in your past. Central is it an hour or 2 hours? I always get Central and Mountain mixed up. Isn't there? There's like a couple places. I think North Dakota. I want to say North Dakota has part of it is in Central and part of it is in Mountain. This is all very confused. This whole living on a gigantic Earth where the sun is in different places at different times. It's very confusing. Very confusing. Just wanted to say that. What's happening, Sharon? 5 on the West Coast because West Coast is the best coast. Okay. Yeah, there is I've scheduled a couple interviews with people, and they're like, well, I'm in North Dakota. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I went and looked it up, and I was like, which North Dakota? Like, what part of North Dakota? I need to know this. 7 p.m. in Nebraska right now. All right. Okay. All right, that's helpful. Well, so far, the new Mega Meltdown, doing great. You guys killing it out there. See all you guys watching the videos and leaving comments, and I appreciate that. We're up to 12.5K views on the new guy. That means we had a 14,000 view one. We had an 8,000 view one. We now have a 12.5 thousand view one, and that was only in the last 24 hours. So you guys are killing it. You guys are doing a great job. New video, real funny stuff. We got some Adam Mockler in there talking to some people that think that Donald Trump is still the president of the United States, which is really, really fucking weird. But okay, hey, teach their own. Once again, maybe these people were drinking a little bit before they talked to him, too. Maybe that's just a problem. Maybe just all these people are drunk. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're just all drunk all the time. All right. So what do we got going on today? What do we got going on today? Since it's Saturday and the internet seems to be working so far, allegedly. We're going to be watching a brand new Armageddon report that just came out from Christopher Titus, Donald Trump, unprecedented. We've got, of course, the main event today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Jasmine Crockett, Marjorie Taylor Greene, what was it? Bleach blonde, bad body, or butch body. Bleach blonde, bad attitude, butch body. Was that what she called her? Or kind of called her. She asked if she was allowed to call her that. So we're going to hear her just talk on her own thing. We're going to watch the actual incident itself, and we're going to play a game of who's drunk, who out of all these people might be drunk. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you don't get points if you pick Marjorie Taylor Greene, because obviously she's always drunk. Look at Lauren Boebert. Doesn't Lauren Boebert look like she's like a small child in her like parents' chair? Like she does not like right now. I'll be honest with you. This looks like a deep fake. It looks like they photoshopped Lauren Boebert into a big chair. Fun size Sarah Palin. We got Brian Tyler Cohen, because I don't think that we ever watch any Brian Tyler Cohen anymore, and that makes me sad, because I love this guy. He's my favorite, and he's got the best suits in the game. Talking about Rudy Giuliani, because we haven't talked about Rudy Giuliani for a while either. We've got, of course, the good liars making Trump supporters lose their minds in real time. We got Trump nearly falls off stage. Luke Beasley talking about Trump almost falling off the stage. I didn't even hear about that one until I logged on, and I was like, oh, we'll watch that for sure. And then just because it's Saturday, and Saturdays we do things a little different, okay? On Saturday, we're gonna talk about evangelical paranoia is next level, and that is that the reason that I want to watch this is because I feel like these two camps of like QAnon Trump supporters have really kind of paralleled the conspiracy theory doomer camp, and I feel like they're really just two peas in a pod. They seem like the same types of people. Believe the weirdest shit. They're afraid of everything. I saw some comments today from somebody, I want to say, in Britain that said that they don't see the MAGA people over in Britain, maybe their own MAGA, but not our MAGA over there. And I had pointed out that these people don't leave the country because they're afraid of everything outside of their own country. They're afraid of anybody that looks different, afraid of anybody that talks different. They're just super afraid. They're like, this guy's going to get my luggage and he's going to come back across the border with me, because that's what terrorists do. That's what terrorists do. All right. Bleach blonde, bad bush built body. I like that. What's up, Jeannie? Good to see you, Jeannie. Trump is president, but everything is Biden's fault? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kind of cracks me up to know that. Let's see. 4 videos tops. Woke, you're aiming high. I like that you're aiming for 4 total videos to get to see today. You should know better than that. What's up, Jess? Good to see you, Jess. All right. Let's get the first one out of the way at least. Let's watch a little Christopher Titus to start the day. Let's get this bad boy rolling here. Let's make sure all of our buttons are pushed in the right places. Bucket's not here to make fun of me yet. Usually I summon Bucket by saying Bucket's name. All right. Jess, I'm glad you're here. If you're having an off day, let's hope we can make it a little better for you. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. We all have off days. We all have bad days. But that's why we have a community of cool people to talk to. I really do. I was saying this to Robert Matheny on the comments earlier today. I really do think that you guys are some of the coolest damn human beings on YouTube. And I appreciate you guys always being here and being so supportive of each other and not just of myself. So appreciate you guys. I thank you for everything you do. Let's listen to some Christopher Titus.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. The first president in American history charged with felonies and is currently on trial again and still. This week had his henchman and fixer testify against him. Of course, this was after the porn actress he cheated on his wife with testified first. This dude makes you yearn for Nixon. This is Michael Cohen, who actually did jail time for his scheme to pay off the aforementioned porn star to keep her quiet before the 2016 election. Cohen then got convicted of campaign finance violations and that he had lied about the deal for Trump Tower Moscow also. You know, the hotel Trump was going to build in Russia and then give Putin the penthouse. Remember? I know. And it's so hard to keep up with the menu of felonies of the former president. The sexual assaults, the tax cheating, the deals with Putin, the attack on the Capitol, the billions from Saudi, and the stealing of top secret documents that he happened to keep at his golf resort and then invited the Saudis over.
Oh.
That's why they gave Garrett all those billions.
The views of this podcast are the host views and not proven fact, although it's the only logical explanation.
Michael Cohen did a great job of laying out how connected Donald Trump was to the hush money payments to Stormy. Yeah, I hear people on the right all the time saying, yeah, so he's that with the porn star, so. In fact, Fox News thought it made him super cool.
That makes him a sex god.
You know, sleeping with a porn star while your wife was raising your newborn. Such a stud, bro. You know, like the Bible and Jesus said you should do. Here's the crime, though. Trump used the money to pay Stormy.
And once again, this is the thing. It'd be one thing if these people were consistent. It'd be one thing if they just came out and they're like, yeah, dude, I don't fucking care, he cheated on his wife. You know what? That's what a man does. That's masculine. You go out and you have sex with all the women you can possibly have. Hell yeah, you ever had sex with a porn star? I didn't think so, brother. That's right. I did. You didn't. That's right. Trump did because he's a man. All right? If they stuck to that, then I'd be like, whatever. They're Neanderthals. They're morons. But, you know, hey, that's who they are. That's they're red pill. They're those guys, you know? But the problem is that like they constantly flip-flop between him being a good Christian, you know, the other side too, which would not be believable. But let's say, you know, you said, hey, Donald Trump's a good Christian man. Donald Trump is a father and a husband and the greatest president of all time. All that bullshit, right? But they flip-flop between the two. He's both a good Christian man, but also struggles with infidelity. He's both the greatest president of all time and never does anything wrong, but has been convicted of sexual abuse and fraud. It's like, I think you either have to completely own the fact that he's a fucking Neanderthal idiot, you know, and he's what you believe is masculine, or you have to claim that he is 100% a Christian and has never done anything wrong in his life. But the weird combination of both worlds coexisting, that's 1984 shit. That's double speak. That is, we are both at war, but we are not at war. It's so weird.
Daniels
so fucking
keep
weird.
Her quiet so he could win the presidency, which is the same campaign finance felony Michael Cohen was convicted of and went to jail for. And I don't mean the same kind of...
Let me be honest with you. If you asked me if I thought these two guys were in cahoots and were going to do some crimes together, yeah, I'd say yes. 100% yes.
To pay Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet so he could win the presidency, which is the same
Make America horny
finance
again.
felony Michael Cohen was convicted of and went to jail for. And I don't mean the same kind of crime. I mean the exact fucking crime. So Cohen being convicted set a precedent for the ex-president whose scumbag behavior is unprecedented. Trump's family haven't been showing up to his trial. However,
don't worry, his extended family.
Have.
Yeah.
That's right. The people backing up Sweet Potato Hitler during his first trial.
Oh, Sweet Potato Hitler. Once again, it is the goofiest fucking crowd of people. Like, if it isn't the Trump supporters that look weird as fuck, it's the people that he supports for president. Or, I'm sorry, for political office. They are the goofiest looking fucking clown squad that has ever been created. This is like somebody at DC Comics was told, make a bunch of people that nobody could possibly take fucking seriously, put them in suits that look just like Donald Trump, and then, I don't know, make them like the worst Avenger team of all time. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Trial. However, his henchmen have. That's right. The people backing up Sweet Potato Hitler during his first trial, he has 4, by the way, but his crew supporting him in court happened to be Senator
the new Nazi
and
uniforms
the Speaker
are
of the
snazzy.
House, Tommy Tuberville, football coach and guy who isn't quite sure what branch of the government he is in.
Speak for yourself,
and
someone said. Sorry, woke.
Trump was
Sorry, woke.
Loathsome, an idiot, noxious, reprehensible, and cultural heroin. Of course, now JD Vance.
See, this is literally what I'm talking about. This is literally what I'm talking about. It's like, look, man, I give everybody grace, right? Like, I'm like, you can change your mind. You can do bad shit and then become a good person. There's all of those things that are completely acceptable. But you gotta be able to, like, actually, like, say why. You gotta say, like I talk about my past, right? And I'm like, the way I grew up, I was very physically aggressive. I had a very bad temper. I did things that I shouldn't have done. Some of the things I'm embarrassed by. Sometimes some of the things I'd be ashamed to have to admit that I did. But who I am today is who I am today because I looked at those things and I said, wow, like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want my children to see me as that father, my wife to see me as that man. I want to be a better person. I want to be able to lead by example and help people that were potentially in my place get better and become a better person and become valuable and help be productive. And those are all very important things to me because morally I feel like that's where, you know, I should have my strength at. And if this guy was able to say, no, let me explain to you where I was wrong, I'd be like, once again, okay, I can understand. I see now. But he doesn't. He doesn't explain shit. He just goes, I was wrong, and just fucking moves on. And acts like that's enough of a fucking excuse. That's just like when people go, because God. You know, it's like, that's not an explanation. There's no nuance to that conversation. If you gotta actually have a reason. And we all know what the fucking reason is. And that's because you are sucking that little orange mushroom tip so hard, hoping that it'll all up in your mouth, and then you'll get a job. Like, you are getting Harvey Weinstein by Orange Jim Jones. The only thing that's worse than getting Harvey Weinstein is getting Harvey Weinstein by Donald J. Trump. Well, there might be worse than that. I don't want to go out there and say that because the Republicans would be like, hold my beer or hold my Kool-Aid. They will one up that shit in like no time flat.
Who said Trump was loathsome, an idiot, noxious, reprehensible, and cultural heroin. Of course, now J.D. Vance is on Trump's side. Trump even said,
JD is kissing my ass. He wants my support.
oh, you got to be proud. J.D. Vance is an ex-Marine, and if I may,
exactly,
is the only soldier Trump was right about, because this dude is a sucker and a loser. Then, This is Mike. I found Waldo Johnson, who showed up in the New York courtroom to support Trump. That's right.
And that's the biggest cuck of them all right there, right? Well, nah, the biggest cuck of them all is right behind him, Vivek. Vivek, after that shit with Ann Coulter, I don't think there's any coming back from that. I don't know if you guys saw that too. He went on Patrick Bet David, and he kind of was like Patrick Bet David, look, I'm not a fan, but at least he called him out on it. He's like, that shit was racist. And Vivek was like, yeah, you know, everybody's got opinions, and hey, I'm just looking to have like some diverse conversations, you know. And Patrick Bet David was kind of like, he's like, no, but you gotta admit that she was kind of being racist against you. And he was like, yeah, you know, I really want that job. I'm not gonna say that. And I think at one point or another, he was like, no, you have to see what she's saying. What she's saying is like, she wants like somebody that's been here and lived here, and that person probably has more in the interest of America than somebody that's an immigrant, that their parents, they're only second generation. And the whole time, Patrick Bet David, of course, wants to be president of the United States, so he's like trying to be like, no, like, I think that's some bullshit. And he goes, no, I think that she'd be okay with it. And he's like, yeah, as long as you're white. And I was like, damn, dude. To be on Patrick Bet David's show and be the biggest moron, that's a hell of an accomplishment. That is not easy to do. To be the biggest moron on the PBD show, like, that takes skill. Like, you have to try for that. I don't think anybody is born with that ability. You have to work hard at that. And Vivek just jumped right into the deep end. He was like, I got this shit. Don't worry about it. Let me handle it. I'll be that dude. But Mike Johnson, on the other hand, does not Mike Johnson look like he's just always a disappointed father? like you're his son, and you pulled up some Stormy Daniels porn, and his notification went off. He looked down at his phone, and he's like, you know, he had to turn off his porn to look at it. Oh.
The guy second in line for the presidency is in court backing up the guy who tried to end the presidency.
Nah, dude, it's
Cool.
Woke
We
and
are
Mike.
in weird times,
Woke and Mike
people.
are running for
Again.
president, Jess.
And
I'm going to
still-
be Secretary of State.
Make it stop! I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon update. I can't even do this anymore. Every week, it's just some shit that seems like it's made up, as if and fucking some of the craziest fucking shit that I've ever. Anyway, every week, you did what with the president, and he's still in the polls? How is that fucking possible?
Oh, dude. Christopher Titus is my spirit animal. I say the same shit. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, I always think, I'm like, what are we going to watch today when we get on? What are we going to watch? You know, like, I'm at work all day long. Not today. I have other shit to do today. But during the weekdays, I'm at work all day long. I got other shit to worry about. I'm thinking about increasing sales. I'm thinking about replacing people, you know, that are moving on. I'm thinking about, you know, how to get the most out of my time while I'm there. And then I get home and I'm like, okay, damn, I haven't looked up anything. What's going on today? Like, what are we gonna watch? Like, is there anything worth looking at? And it takes me like 12 seconds to fucking turn it on, look at it. I'm like, oh shit, that one, up, that one, up, that one, and then we watch 4 of them, like Woke said. It is seriously. Why is this a week-to-week phenomenon? Do you guys think this is because the 24-hour news cycle? Do you think it's because media is grabbing onto all these things, because the internet, because it makes it so available? Were all these things this crazy for a long time? Or do you think this is specific to these people? Because I feel like even if you had the internet back in the day, like the 70s, 80s, I seriously doubt that we could have had the same. It seems like different types of politicians. Seems like different types of people. And I seriously think during COVID, there is a set amount of people in our population that broke their goddamn brains, and they ain't coming back, dog. They are done. They don't want to come back to reality. They think they have unplugged from the Matrix. And what they've actually done is unplugged from reality. I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys help me out. Tell me what the fuck is going on. Also, answer my question. I like that you guys... I know that there's a couple different things with the poll today. I just wanted to get an idea, because I don't know enough about YouTube streamers. I've been doing this for like about a year seriously now. But I don't know enough about YouTube streamers, and people always come in here and ask me who I watch and stuff like that. I watch, you know, a little bit of Destiny. I stopped watching Vosh because he did some weird shit. But I'd watch like 1 or 2 of his streams. Hassan, I'd watch 1 or 2 of his streams. I've never watched much of anybody. So, you know, I always ask you guys for recommendations and stuff. So I'm trying to get an idea of some stuff that I should be watching that you guys like, that makes sense, and, you know, we can kind of connect on and see if I like some of these people. I did just see Destiny now has a podcast, and he brought my boy, one of the dudes I love from hip-hop, R.A. the Rugged Man. If you know who R.A. the Rugged Man, I bet Woke knows who R.A. is. But if you know who R.A. the Rugged Man is, there's a video of him on, I want to say, Not So Erudite, if that's how you say her name, Not So Erudite, and Destiny interviewing him. And R.A.'s dope. R.A.'s a cool fucking dude, and he's also a bit of a progressive dude. And he's a fucking legend in hip-hop. So if you don't know who R.A. the Rugged Man is, look up R.A. It's not safe for work. He's definitely a little bit on the angry ginger spectrum, just so you guys know. So careful. Don't watch that shit at work in front of your boss.
Tonight, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is not backing down, calling her Republican colleague Marjorie Taylor Greene
We are the Matrix, Jess.
after a contentious committee meeting.
What's up, Rev?
A late-night House
Dash?
oversight markup last night was derailed for nearly an hour after Greene mocked Crockett. You can see for yourself.
Let's see this. I haven't actually watched this video.
You know we're here about
just
AG.
I
don't think you know what you're here
President.
for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I
you
think
still
your
stuck in the
fake
courtroom.
eyelashes are messing up
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Wow.
That's beneath even you.
Engage the order of your committee.
Order.
Please.
There's a point of order.
We have a point of order, Mr. Lee.
Wow.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Greene's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl? I don't think
we are going to
so.
move, and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
Wow.
Now, after that, there was a failed vote to strike Greene's comments from the record, and she was allowed to continue her remarks. And that's when Crockett stepped back into the fray.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling.
I'm just going to be honest with you guys. At this point, I think I could run for Congress. I mean, if this is what's happening in there, dog, I can handle this. Man, I can drop some bombs on people. Oh, wait. I meant that figuratively. I was like, oh, shit, wait. What did I just say? I meant on MTG, not on fucking other civilizations. I mean, this is Trailer Park. This is the shit I grew up with. I mean, if this is what our Congress looks like, let's get me, Woke, Mike, Jess, let's get us all in there. I mean, goddamn. I can make some fucking funny insults. Is this what happened? This is where we went. This is where we went. MTG is a goddamn fool. Let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think that she's doing this on purpose? Do you think that that's just her personality and she just talks shit? Or do you think she's trying to do kind of like what I said that Trump does with judges, where he tries to get the judges to act out so he can get like mistrials, or he can get it sent up to higher courts of appeal and get it appealed? Do you think that that's what she's doing, or do you think she's just a moron? She's just dumb and she can't help herself, and just whatever the fuck comes into her head, she's got to say that shit. I mean, that's kind of Donald Trumpish, right? And he kind of made that popular.
Girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
This is where the earrings
Don't
come off.
even
Exactly.
Play.
Baby girl?
Fucking
I don't
take the
think
We are
weave
going to
off.
move, and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
I second it too.
Now, after that, there was a failed vote to strike Greene's comments from the record, and she
triple
was
it.
allowed to
Or
continue
30.
her remarks.
Whatever
and
it
that's
is.
when Crockett stepped
Yeah,
back
you
into
think
the
she's
fray.
trying to get a gotcha moment? I'm with you, Woke. I think that
I'm just
she's
curious,
just trying to
to
get
better
clips.
understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
I'm telling you, I could be in there. I can do this. I just like the look at Jamie Raskin's face. Look at Jamie Raskin's face. This is what I'm saying too. Guys like Mike Johnson, like James Comer, like they just seem like they're like, like these are their people, and they don't have any choice but to support them. They have zero choice but to support the MTGs and Boeberts in their party. So they just kind of go, can we not do, okay, we're doing this. All right, okay, well, fuck it. All right. Jamie Raskin even looking at Jasmine Crockett like he's like, oh, shit.
What now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
Hold on, somebody needs to clip that shit one more time. Dude, that Jamie Raskin looking at him as he says that.
It's just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
What now?
Oh, what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at
I'm trying to get clarification.
Because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get
Miss
clarification.
Crockett, you're not recognized. Miss
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your.
Look at the dudes whispering in his ear. The dude's coming up and whispering in his ear. Oh my God.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to.
They're like, sir, we gotta get this under control, sir. He's like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Holy shit. Dude, I grew up in the park. This is what we would see. This is like one of my sisters. Someone's about to get their hair pulled. I don't know you guys ever seen two ghetto girls fight too. Like my sisters get out there, man. The first move is the hand goes into the hair and it wraps the hair around, and then the punches start landing. So I'm just gonna give you guys a heads up that if this shit happens, that's what you're gonna see, and it ain't pretty. Because dudes fighting is scary enough, but you get two girls going at it, man, that is savage, all right? You're going to see things that you never want to see, but you also might see a titty every once in a while, too, just so you know. I'm just giving you guys a heads up what I saw when I was a kid.
Don't want calm down.
Third, I hear you.
Calm down. Because y'all
Third, I hear you.
And then
You're out of control.
Because if I
Look, Chairman,
come and talk shit about her, y'all gonna have a problem.
Greene brushed off any criticism that she got over the last 24 hours.
What is going on?
AOC isn't intelligent. Jasmine Crockett
Yeah.
has fake eyelashes.
Genie, like she's just like, so if I were to, use a racial slur, if I were to comment on the fact that she looks like the caveman from the Geico commercials, is any of that crossing the line? Will I get in trouble for any of those things? Like that was low key pretty insane, actually. Holy shit, guys! This is where your tax money is being. This is what it's going to right now.
The last 24 hours writing this.
Oh
AOC
my God!
isn't intelligent. Jasmine Crockett has fake
the two
eyelashes.
guys from the Muppets.
These aren't attacks on personalities. These are just facts. Congresswoman, thanks for being here. First of all, I wonder, in that moment in the hearing room, why did you react the way that you did to the comment that Marjorie Taylor Greene made about you?
So I want to clarify that I actually did not react instantaneously. I actually was trying to allow the process to work. So you heard from AOC, who is our vice ranking member, and you heard from Jamie Raskin, who's our ranker, as we attempted to go through the process. And there was an agreement, and of course, Marjorie had to be Marjorie, and she refused to actually apologize.
Oh.
Therefore,
Okay.
I needed clarification as to why the chairman refused to actually take her words down, which meant that she would be kicked out of the committee room for the rest of the hearing, which would have been appropriate.
Now, the part that I think really kind of, frankly, caught the internet afire is when you described Greene.
And doesn't that make sense? Like, whether you're on the left or the right, if, like, one person starts, like, interrupting the entire committee by just talking hella trash to the other ones, like, making fun of the way they look and shit, like, wouldn't that be the line? I mean, I would say, obviously, the ultimate line would be if somebody physically assaulted somebody else in the fucking, chamber. Like, for sure, you would hope that would get them kicked out, but I'm not sure right now whether or not it would. Like, if somebody picked up a chair and just flung that motherfucker across the room at somebody else, like, that would be like, you gotta go sit outside in the hall, like they used to do to you in school. Like, they make you go sit outside in the hall. You'd think so? So that's actually gives some clarification there, that they were attempting to get her, because they had stricken the words from the record, which I think they should have kept in the record. Fuck that. Like, that shit needs to be written down for posterity, right? That needs to be in the history books. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's a fucking idiot. Okay, this is why I can't be in the committee. This is why I can't run for Congress. But apparently I could, because apparently you can say these things. So it's good to know that they're attempting to go through a process, and then she went there. Because we do still, I mean, look, I'm not Obama. I'm not the guy that's sitting here going like, we got to go high when they go low. I'm like, I don't know, you can punch a couple times and then go high. Like, you can fight back. Like, one of the things about the left that has been like an issue for so fucking long is that the left doesn't fight back. The left just kind of lets the right do dumb shit and attack them, and then they pull the Obama. Well, when they go low, we go high. And I'm not always for that. Now, I'm from a different background, and like I said, I'm probably not the person to be sitting on a committee. But, I do feel like people on the left want to see backbone from their representation. I don't think we need to see people going full Jerry Springer and going crazy. But I think that seeing people on the left, I mean, if you're not going to do anything about the other person doing what they're doing, then you got to defend yourself, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it.
In this request for clarification, as a bleached
Dog
blonde,
the bounty hunter and
bad
Geico caveman had a love
butch
child.
body.
Marge
I
the
had to look at
cave
my
hunter
notes to
Greene.
read. Any regrets about that
don't
kind of
forget to like
language?
the stream.
especially given that you were trying to make a point, frankly, about decorum in the hearing room?
I have no regrets. And I'll tell you why. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene is the type of person that if you give her an inch, she'll take a mile. And the fact that they continue to allow her to break the rules of decorum over and over and over, whether it's the State of the Union that the president is delivering and she's wearing a MAGA hat or otherwise, the reason that she didn't have committee assignments before was because she did not know how to conduct herself as a member of Congress. And so if I just sit there and say, oh, well, Marjorie said it about me, what's to stop her to continue to do it again and again? And at the end of the day, I was elected as a representative of Congress, but that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be somebody's doormat.
I can agree with that. See, that's what I'm saying. I like that attitude. I respect that attitude because, to be honest with you, Marjorie Taylor Greene almost seems like, you know, in hockey there's an enforcer, right? It's like the one dude that he's not the best skater. He ain't gonna score no goals. He's just a physical dude that goes out there and gets in people's faces. In basketball, you got your Draymond Greens, your Dennis Rodmans. Now, Dennis Rodman, mind you, amazing basketball player. So is Draymond Greene, even though he's a big ass fucking child. But they go out and they get in people's heads and they mess with people and they do things they're not supposed to until they get kicked out of the game. Enforcers in hockey will literally get into a fist fight with the other players to potentially try to get their best players removed from the game. It feels like the way that the Republicans are going about handling people like Marjorie Taylor Greene is they don't care what she does because she gets to kind of be the mouthpiece for what they want to say or what they want to do, and they can't. Because they want to get reelected. They want to be taken seriously. So they let somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene go out there and say the dumb shit for them. And that's what I mean is, so where do you draw that line? On the left, where do you say, okay, she's going to come out here. She's going to say this dumb shit. She's going to give fodder for clips on YouTube or fodder for clips on TikTok where lower middle class trailer park trash motherfuckers can come out here and be like, yeah, that's my girl. Boy, she owned that Jasmine Crockett. That's the kind of woman I like. You know, like that kind of shit. Like that's who they're trying to appeal to. So where do you draw that line? Because you want, you know, on the left, you got people like myself that you know, grew up poverty stricken. That grew up having to fight back and learning to defend themselves, that want to see somebody on the left that ain't going to take that shit from people. So, I don't know. I respect Jasmine Crockett for what she said right there. I really respect her for saying that because I ain't nobody's fucking doormat either. All right? And I learned something when I was a really, really small kid. I used to box with the dude next door who was a norteño, and his name was Tommy. Sometimes you'll see him in here. Or, I don't know, he's a norteño, but he's Fresno 14, okay? He had a red car in a blue neighborhood. And Tommy, you'll see him actually in my chat every once in a while. And because he hates Trump too. But I'd box with him. He would teach me how to, like, you know, defend myself. And I had my best friend growing up. His name was Sean. And he said, he told me one time, you know, I was a little tiny, skinny white kid in this neighborhood. And he said, man, you just can't let people fuck with you all the time. He said, some people, you just got to punch them right in the face. And I'm like, but I'm small. Like, I'm going to get my ass kicked. And he was like, you know what? There's not a lot of people out there that like to get punched in the face, man. And Tommy used to tell me all the time, it's about heart. You know, he's like, you got to stand up for yourself. You got to, like, show people that you ain't going to back down. He's like, because if you do that, he's like, you start to get respect. You start to teach people that you're not going to be their doormat. And because of Tommy and because of Sean, like, I grew up and became the person I am now, where I don't take shit from nobody. Like, you know, like, I'm a leader because I help people realize that they don't have to take shit from nobody. Because you can approach things with confidence. Because most of the people out there that are talking all that shit, they're scared as fuck. They're worried as fuck. They don't want nothing to do with an actual confrontation. They want to back you down with words. They want to be loud. They want to be insulting. They want to act like they want a piece of that. But they don't. You know, actually, speaking of R.A. the Rugged Man, in his interview with Destiny, he went on Tim Pool's podcast and how Tim Pool starts raising his voice. And R.A., who's a fucking real motherfucker, he goes, I'm not that dude. I'm not that dude. And Tim Pool, I don't think he understands what RA is saying. He don't understand the lingo. He don't know the language. And he's like, you are that dude. He keeps saying that. And at one point, RA slaps that fucking mic out of the way, stands the fuck up, and he's like, you want some of this shit? I'll beat your ass. And Tim Pool's like, oh my God. Because you know why? Because Tim Pool's real fucking strong when he's sitting in that seat talking that shit. Somebody like RA stands up and he's like, I'll slap your fucking teeth out your mouth. I will mop the goddamn pavement with your face. All of a sudden, oh shit. Things just got real. And I learned that shit. I learned to be that person and grow up in that way. And I'm not saying that it's appropriate in every position. I've learned to turn it off and turn it on. And most of the time that shit needs to be turned the fuck off. But every once in a while, when someone treats you like a doormat, it's time to flip the switch, stand the fuck up, and go, I'm not that dude. Jess! Welcome to the Ginger Army, Jess. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You too can be a part of the Ginger Army just like Jess for the low, low price of only 10 cents a day. Yeah, Pinedale. Yeah. Dude, my dude next door to me, he's Norteño 14, Fresno, all that shit in the middle of Bakersfield, and where all the 13s, lived. And I didn't even know what that meant when I was that kid. I just go over there and he'd give me some boxing gloves. He'd give my sister some boxing gloves. And we punch each other in the face. By the way, my sister beat up most men, so. Anyways, yeah, I like what she said.
Again and again. And at the end of the day, I was elected as a representative of Congress, but that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be somebody's doormat.
Exactly, James. Someone's always
Michelle Obama famously said, when they go low, we go high. Are those days basically over?
I don't know that we can even call it low. I mean, she goes to hell.
Congress
and
boxing
then
would be
I do
pretty
my
dope.
best to remind her as to why she should not cross me.
So one of your colleagues, Jamie Raskin, actually suggested that some members might have been drinking.
Yeah,
Others
Fresno
have said that as well, making that suggestion. That's a pretty serious.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. This wasn't just from the left. There are people on the right saying that there were people drinking before they went into that committee. That's crazy. Look, you work at Taco Bell. I'm not saying that it's okay. Just saying. This isn't job advice. But if you worked at Taco Bell and you went to work after a couple drinks, no one's probably going to call you out on that shit. But if your job is to be a congressperson or a senator or the mayor, or even just a city council person, don't get drunk before you go get on the committee. What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, man. Yeah, woke, they say Bakersfield, they say, what is it? Fresno is the armpit of California, and Bakersfield is the taint.
Allegation. Do you think that played a factor here?
I think with Marjorie Taylor Greene, it doesn't require alcohol for her to be unhinged. I'll be perfectly honest. I don't know. I don't have any facts to that. So, I won't say and I won't participate in rumors when I don't have any facts behind it.
So you also called Greene racist for what she said about you. Why is that?
Yeah. Because
I actually have a video on this because I have a thing about people calling people racist when they're not, right? I have a video, Marjorie Taylor Greene is racist, okay? And you should watch that video because if you don't believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene is racist, watch my fucking video, Marjorie Taylor Greene is racist. Because she says racist ass shit. It's not like, she was just making a joke. Oh, that was taken out of context. No, Marjorie Taylor Greene says racist ass shit. She does. I'm all down for people calming the fuck down and only calling people that are racist. I don't like it when people throw out the pedo word. I don't like it when people just call people racist for no fucking reason. I don't like it. I like it to be used for the people that it should be used for. And I'm telling you this right fucking now. Marjorie Taylor Greene has said some racist ass shit.
As I've received so many amazing compliments from MAGA America.
Smoke a joint.
Throughout my time in Congress.
Yeah, space lasers get her worked up,
when
dude.
I would go viral, instead of them trying to address the things that I laid out in a very factual way, what they would try to do is say, "Oh, look at her hair, or look at her nails, or look at her lashes," and they would all then associate anything that I do as a form of beautification with being quote unquote ghetto. And so to me, she was just basically repeating the nonsense that MAGA world is constantly putting.
And see, that's exactly right there. Like, that is insane to even think that as a congressperson that you're going to call another congresswoman, a black congresswoman, ghetto. I sit up here all day long and say I'm ghetto. And I don't have a problem with that. I grew up in a trailer park. I am who I am. You want to call me ghetto, that's perfectly fine. But if you are going to assume because a black woman has somewhat you think of an attitude and that makes her ghetto, you're being fucking racist. That's racist. Like, that's fucking
out there
racist.
Because I am not the only woman in Congress that wears lashes. And there are women on her side of the aisle that wear lashes as well as hair extensions. But she's never felt like that was a dig that she needed to take at anyone.
Yeah,
except
that's racist.
For me, a black woman who sits on the committee. And then, of course, she went after AOC and called her unintelligent, a brown woman that sits on the committee.
CNN actually asked her for comment, and this is a statement that we received. She said the only member that brought up any reference to color was Congresswoman Crockett. She's putting that on you.
I brought it up when we were in committee. It definitely did not come up.
Those
when I
eyeballs.
was asked about whether or not I felt like she was being racist, I told the truth, which was absolutely yes. But ultimately, in committee, that was not part of the conversation whatsoever.
So House Speaker Mike Johnson weighed in on all of this. He called the situation regrettable. He stressed the importance of decorum. Here's part of his statement. He said it's...
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Ah, you guys want to... You guys can tell I've been looking at lifting videos. Oh, Christ. Look at this guy. Get it, bro! Good job, buddy. Oh, that was the end of the video?
Do you know what we're here for? You know...
What the hell? That wasn't the end of the video, was it? I thought we were about to see Tiny Johnson. What the hell, guys? Thought we were about to see some Tiny Johnson. All right, I guess that was the end of that video. I guess that was pretty well covered it, actually. That one actually pretty well covered it. Let's see what Really American. You know, I like this Really American guy. He's awesome. He's pretty funny. The Hessenator. He's a pretty funny dude. MTG missing the ghetto. Trailer park debate she knows so well. Yeah, exactly. That's like I don't have a problem with people calling me ghetto. People talking about the fact I'm from the trailer park, but that's because like I'm not in a professional setting. Like if I were in a meeting, let's say I was in a meeting with my bosses, a couple people, a couple vendors, a couple distributors. Somebody works for like one of the big places. And one of them was like, you know, like, oh, I don't really like this guy. He seems pretty ghetto. That I'd be offended, right? Because I'm in a professional setting. Like at that point, you're supposed to have a certain amount of respect for me, and I'm supposed to have a certain amount of respect for you. And that's how we do the thing. That's called etiquette, right? If I'm on the YouTube channel and I'm just being myself and I'm having a good time, and you want to say this guy's pretty ghetto or this guy's a little trailer park, I'm not gonna be offended by that. But if I'm in a business setting where I'm using my white guy voice, okay, and I'm saying things like we need to do this and we need to do that, and what I need from you this, and what you need to do is this and that, and this guy goes, you know, hey man, I don't have to listen to this dude. He's fucking ghetto. That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Like I don't get how people don't get this shit. Yeah, exactly. No, exactly, Josh. Say that shit to one of my sisters, you're going to get exactly what Josh just said. Let me show you.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk noise, and then
You're out of control.
Because if I come and talk shit about her, y'all gonna have a problem.
Y'all, there was a full-on catfight on the House floor during last night's hearing, and it is simply too good and too wild not to share with you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this special nighttime episode, we resume the Madcap comedy mystery series called Comer's High Crimes and Misadventures, the hilarious quest to impeach a president who has done nothing wrong. An avowedly low-budget but multi-million-dollar taxpayer-funded production, which...
Oh, that's a low budget. Multi-million dollars is low budget. This is why sometimes when people like Third Rail are on here talking shit about these guys, I'm like, dude, I feel that. I feel that. A low budget is multi-million dollars? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we wasting this money for this fucking circus? I'll be honest with you. I can get a funnier comedy movie for $4.99 on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon. This is not paid promotion, by the way. I'm just saying, pointing that out.
Most Americans assumed it ended 2 months ago.
What up, Jeremy?
And had completely forgotten about.
So we'll continue this in a second, I promise, because it is about to pop off. But for some quick context before I let it ride, this is supposed to be a contempt hearing for Attorney General Merrick Garland, which is already ridiculous and was made further ridiculous by the fact that it got pushed back into the evening because Republicans had to take the Clown Car Express to New York to be mouthpieces for Donald Trump, which thankfully they were shamed for.
I mean, it's a lot, right, to ask someone who's facing a criminal trial and running for president.
Look at these goofy motherfuckers. It's like a field trip. Holy Jesus. Why is this a thing? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Holy Christ. What the fuck are these people doing? It's a criminal trial. I'm waiting for the reality show to come out, man. Like when like the documentary or something comes out, and this whole time they've had people following them with cameras. Oh my God.
To ask his political allies to travel over 200 miles on a voting day here in Congress to pop up to New York and snap some cute pictures to defend him because the judge has ordered him to stop threatening the jurors in his own trial. I mean, some might.
Okay, now this should be an easy question. I think you guys are going to probably win this one. But I'm going to say there's a secret answer. I'm going to say there's a secret answer to this question. Out of this picture, who do you think gave Donald Trump the hand job? Because one of them had to, right? Like one of them, that it's massage the master. That's part of being in an occult. If you guys have watched one of my videos, I talk about the steps of being in an occult. First, they take your house. Then they sleep with your wife. And then the next thing that happens is you get called in to massage the master, okay? So which one of these people do you think massaged the master? Now, you're going to think this is going to be an easy one, but I want to point a couple things out before you guys jump into the chat with your answers. Yes, the easy answer is fun-size Sarah Palin because she's got a history, all right? But I don't see any musicals. I don't see any families, and she doesn't look to have her vape on her right now. But standing across from her is a former stripper. Yeah, right here, okay? Also, a guy that's known for sexual deviancy right here. And these three guys in the back, I'm just going to say, if you are going to get a really, like, sad $15 hand job, it'd probably be from one of these dudes, okay? I'm just saying that it's not as easy as it seems on the surface. You guys need to think about your answer before you give it to me, okay?
I actually view this as direct interference in a criminal court case.
Yes, they took turns.
It's not exactly law and order, as our friends like to talk about all the time. But
right, law and order. And let me tell you, order was nowhere to be found here, thanks to Republicans. Feast your eyes on this.
But tonight, with the cast and crew now fresh back from a surprise.
You mean
trip
like
to
the
New York
January
City.
6th committee?
Stop it.
I'd like my time.
I'm not even there, and I'm so annoyed by that. Like she does that shit on purpose. Like, how many times has she been told the rules of decorum? How many times have we watched videos of Marjorie Taylor Greene being told to shut the fuck up? She is fucking insufferable. People in Georgia, if there's anybody in my chat that lives in her district, it is your job. It's not my job. It's your job. You need to get the people that are around you to vote this fucking idiot out. You cannot possibly be proud to have Marjorie Taylor Greene as your representative. Holy fuck, that is, dude, that's like telling a woman to calm themselves down. That right there just got my hair, just like the back, the little bit that I have, it's mostly on my back, just fucking stood at attention. I'm just like... fucking ready to go.
With the cast and crew now fresh back from
You mean
surprise
like
to
the
New York
January
City.
6th committee?
Stop it.
I'd like my time restored to me, Mr. Chairman.
Order, order. Chair recognizes
What's
the
up,
ranking
Honest?
member.
Okay. Different congressional investigations and inquiries. And I know that pleases the gentlelady from Georgia because he issued...
I just want to hear Joe Biden. Why can't the American people hear him?
Order, Mr. Chairman. Get her under control.
President Trump issued an edict. No, I am glad that the gentlelady from Georgia is learning something tonight, okay?
I'd like to know if any of the Democrats on this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
This is my dog Checkers.
Oh!
She's 21, and
Christy
I owe
Gnome's
it all
coming!
to the farmer's dog.
Christy Gnome's coming!
Checkers
Run,
is
Checkers!
My companion.
Run, Checkers! Oh, okay, sorry. I had a moment. A little flashback.
Please tell me what that has to do with Merrick Garland.
Is she a porn star?
Oh, Goldman. That's right. He's advising. Okay.
He's advising.
She thinks she's so smart. Dude, she thinks she's so fucking smart.
Do you know what we're here for?
Holy
you know we're here
shit!
AG
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I think your
stuck in the
fake
courtroom.
eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
That's beneath
would
even
you
your
please
history.
regain order of your committee?
Order.
Please.
There's a point of order.
We have a point of order. Mr. Lynch, state your point.
I do
Hold
have
on,
a point of order,
hold
and I
on,
would
hold
like
on,
to move to...
Hold on. Let's go back a little. Look at even the Republican side. Look at the hands-on faces. Look at the hands-on faces. Look at the people looking down. And then look over here. You got engagement. You got, what the fuck did she just say? Excuse me? Huh? What the fuck? Maxwell Frost is just laughing. Look, the fucking, this look right here. Look at this side. And then look at this side. This is the only dude. This guy, these two old ass white dudes on the end are like, what happened? I was sleeping. I was taking a little nap. Somebody say something? Is Joe Biden impeached yet? Holy shit. Look at this guy. He's like, what the fuck did she just say? Lauren Boebert, you like that there's a chair between Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene? Because those two are going to... That's going to be the boxing match right there. Those two right there. And unfortunately for fucking fun-sized Sarah Palin, she's got no chance. Fucking Trailer Park Greene, she's gonna go to fisticuffs with Boebert, and Boebert has no chance, dude. She is Dunsky.
Please.
Holy shit.
There's a point of order.
We have a point of order. Mr. Lynch, state your point.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Greene's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your
he had to
feelings
become a
hurt?
Democrat just so people would stop talking about his name being
girl,
Mr. Lynch.
Baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl? I don't think
we are going to move, and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
So who will have to pay us? Okay. All right. We're suspending. Okay. Ms. Greene agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
should
recognizes
apologize. No. She
Perry.
should apologize.
Okay, hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Ms. Greene.
I'm not
will have 5 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then
Okay,
you're
reserve
not
the right to
striking your
object.
words.
I am
Mr.
not
Perry.
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman?
Come on, guys. Dude, and you can tell Marjorie Taylor Greene watched one Too Many Joe Rogan episode. She's like, why don't you debate me? About what? Jewish fucking space lasers? Should we debate that? Should we debate whether or not RBG was still alive, but somebody was wearing her skin as a suit? Because she agreed to that shit on a show. What else? What other crazy fucking things has Marjorie Taylor Greene believed that should be debated? Dude, this is all Joe Rogan's fault. Joe Rogan started that whole, like, debate me, bro, fucking culture.
The minority...
It's self-evident.
You're not...
Yeah, you're not. You don't have enough intelligence.
Exactly, Jeremy. CrossFit does start to pay off.
Move to strike the...
I'd like to strike those words as well.
I move to strike
the lady's words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Oh, they cannot take the words.
There's another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right,
get
okay,
your members under
here's
control.
the correct apology. Ms. Greene, do you ask unanimous...
Come on, guys.
Do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll strike my words, but I'm not apologizing.
Without objection.
I'm not apologizing.
Ms. Greene, for 4
Oh
minutes
my
and 21
God.
seconds.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Who's
It's me.
Ms. Crockett?
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be
Jamie
engaging in
Raskin
personalities,
cracks
correct?
me
A what now?
A what now?
I love her
Oh,
face.
what
She's like,
now?
he's gonna make me repeat that.
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
a part of
Trying
it.
to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to
I
strike
had no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna.
I love too, and this is just such an example of the difference between the two sides. Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks she's smart. Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks that she's sly. Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, this is going to get me so many views. And then Jasmine Crockett comes out and does something that's slick. Says some shit that's actually a fucking insult. Like, that is the two sides in comparison. You got one side that's a goddamn hammer, and the other side's a motherfucking scalpel. Okay? Jesus Christ. Are you guys tired of winning yet? Oh, Donald Trump.
We're not gonna
they
do
haven't
this. Look, you
stopped
guys
winning.
earlier literally just.
You just voted to do
Y'all
it.
did it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get
Okay.
clarification.
Look at, calm down. Calm down.
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get through
do.
proceedings.
So I'm trying
Hey,
to
Miss
get
Crockett,
clarification.
Look at
you're not
the people
recognized,
behind.
Miss
I can't hear
Crockett.
you if you're
You
yelling.
don't want me
Calm
to
down.
Be, no.
Something about working, huh?
Yeah, maybe showing up for a vote.
Oh!
You have a lot to say, being that you're on retainer
What
for the
is
judge's
that?
daughter.
What was that?
Sorry, trust fund.
Look at Lauren Boebert. What was that? What the fuck was that? Look at Lauren Boebert.
Showing up for a vote.
You have a lot to say, being that you're on retainer for the judge's daughter.
High-fiving somebody.
Sorry, trust fund kid.
Mr. Chairman.
We should strike those words too.
I hope you brought your popcorn.
Mr. Chair,
Strike
we have to
those
strike
after
those as
we
well.
strike
And
the
Mr.
fact that they
Chairman-
called they were making comments about Marjorie's body.
Look at the-
So we can do
Mr.
this all night
Chairman.
long.
We got a meeting at the bench going on over here. Oh my God! Look at the Democrats. Everybody's just like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Half the Republicans have left the fucking building. The other half are currently up in a huddle with James Comer trying to figure out what the fuck to do about Marjorie Taylor Greene's trailer park ads.
I have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, this is out of
Oh,
control. We
Christ.
should adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Wow. Frankly, I haven't seen something that bad since like high school debate club.
Don't
And we
forget
talked
to
much
like
more
and
about what this
subscribe.
hearing was about in the last video, but basically it's a contempt hearing based on BS for Attorney General Merrick Garland because the DOJ refused to turn over audio files from Joe Biden's interview with a special counsel about his classified documents case. An interview
Which, for everybody's fucking knowledge, the reason that they do not want to turn over the audio is because they know that Republicans are going to edit it, they are going to take clips out of context, and they are going to use it. That is the reason why they're like, you got the fucking paper reports. That's all you need to have. Because your childish asses can't be trusted to get the audio from his interview. And that should actually be an acceptable thing. In fact, I would say this for all sides. Probably nobody should get to use the audio anymore. Because obviously our politicians can't be trusted. Because they will literally cut shit up, Rudy Giuliani, take it out of context, and then submit that shit as though it's some kind of evidence or proof of something that's going on. You should only get to see the printed version. Because if you can't fucking read, then you shouldn't be in Congress. If you don't have the attention span to read, then you shouldn't be in Congress.
You mind you that he willingly participated in and Trump has not. If that sounds ridiculous to you, well, that's because it is. Republicans keep calling sham hearings like this and Joe Biden's impeachment inquiry, where the failing strategy so far has been to ask Russian plants for fake Kremlin propaganda as evidence.
And we just
It's
forgot
going
all about
great,
that.
guys. Regardless, Republicans keep charging forward with their absurd motions and inquiries because it sounds scary to MAGA morons to hear Joe Biden's under longer investigation. And then being the conspiracy-loving lunatics they are, they'll take that at face value without doing any research. And then still tell you to do your own research about vaccines. Yeah, QAnon blogs don't count as research, Karen. It's just infuriating to see, really. And I won't play the clip of her because we've already heard enough of Marjorie. There's no need to throw Boebert in there. That's just more nails on the chalkboard. But she attempts to apologize, and basically in doing so, blames both sides. Because, you know, there's good and bad people on both sides. Which is so classic. I mean, Republicans can't even own up to their own mistakes and failures. They are literally all becoming more like Trump every day. But we'll end this off with Jasmine Crockett's closing words, because she says it far better than I ever could.
I know a lot of people refer to the former president as president, but we have one president at a time.
Exactly, VJ.
And that is Joe Biden. And seemingly, this type of attitude and position has come straight from the top. This idea of lacking all decorum, decency, has left the building when the stench of Donald Trump showed up. And so we've seen constantly from him how he mocks people. We've seen in this committee how different members want to mock other members. And that's all this is about. But what is so frustrating to me and what should be frustrating to the American people, and the reason that really all y'all should lose y'all's jobs, but why we are going to take the majority is simple. It's because we showed up ready to work earlier today, like we always do. And now it is currently 10 p.m. and we are still here because we are committed to doing the right thing. And my question is really simple. It's a matter of, if this was such a big deal, if it was a matter of an emergency, if this was so important as it relates to whether or not the president of the United States has done something so wrong, then why is it that we couldn't have our hearing at 11 o'clock this morning instead of members being in a criminal courthouse with a twice impeached, over 88 count indicted sexual abuser, instead of being here to do the work of the American people if this was serious?
Thanks for watching, folks. Be sure to drop a like on the video, smash that.
And that's where she has an amazing point. And as if they're there, they're working, they are attending a committee in which that they do not believe is even sensical. But the other side that should be there, that wants to push this through, that wants to see this take into fruition or climax, doesn't even show up. Wants to instead go down and create a political circus at Donald Trump's fraud trial. Wrong trial. Wrong trial. Wrong trial. His election defraudment trial. That's where these people's priorities are. They don't care about getting Mayorkas impeached. They don't care about Joe Biden getting impeached. They care about Donald Trump seeing that they're doing the things that he wants them to do. And that's fucking sad. When you've got Vivek, who's not even a politician, he's just gunning for that vice presidency so goddamn hard, even though he knows Ann Coulter just told him, what, 10 minutes ago? An hour? 2 hours ago? That Republicans don't like him because he's brown? From a Republican? You got Matt Gaetz. You got Lauren Boebert. You got J.D. Vance. You got them all standing outside of Donald Trump's trial, saying the things that he wants them to say because he can't say them, rather than showing up to the very committees that they put forth, that they asked for. That just goes to show you they don't care about those committees. They don't care about actually impeaching Mayorkas. They don't actually care about impeaching Biden. They think you're dumb enough, they think you're stupid enough to see all the political theater, get gassed up, get angry, feel like all this shit's going on while behind the scenes they're jerking off a little orange mushroom and hoping it comes all over their chest because they want to be the one with it on their chest so badly. That's fucking insane. Oh, you like Crockett? I like Crockett too. Impeach Trump, even though it didn't end in conviction. Well, I agree. So here's my thing. I'm sure you've heard me say this before about the impeachment, though. First of all, though, Adam, my one thing is that's a what about. Like, my only problem with what abouts is that unless we address the original topic first and say, I agree with this, what abouts kind of just seem like you're always distracting from the fact that the original thing was true. So instead of doing a what about, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, I agree with that. This is why. I agree with the fact that I knew that the Senate would never prosecute Donald Trump, and therefore I thought that it was a waste of taxpayers' money. I felt, though, as though they had enough evidence to impeach Donald Trump in both of those trials. So in my opinion, they had the right to impeach him, but it didn't make a lot of sense for them to do so, as we knew that the Senate was not going to they weren't going to reinforce the actual guilty verdict, right? Because it has to go to the Senate, and the Senate has to say yes, they agree. The actual impeachment does not. He's been impeached, but he was never fully impeached. So I agree with that. But like I said, you have to agree with the first thing before you move on to the whataboutism. That's what I think people fuck up the most, is they go, but what about Hunter Biden's laptop? It's like, well, all you're doing there is distracting. You're just saying, hey, look over here. Like, the original thing is correct, and the second thing is something to be discussed. That's how I look at that kind of thing. Google Jasmine Crockett Project 25. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at that. Is it on YouTube? This one right here, Gene Hamilton, Playbook for a Dictator. Here, we'll just watch this one. That's Roland S. Martin. Roland Martin? I don't know Roland Martin. Do you know the actual name of it? Yeah, there's clowns on all sides, not just both sides. There's clowns everywhere. There's a lot of clowns. His Ukraine phone call was not nearly as bad as the other presidents in the past, including a VP in the past. But like I said, once again, I don't have a problem with saying that there are other people that did this stuff too. My problem is that if something is impeachable, then it's impeachable regardless of what others did. So there is a point to be made on the other side of saying what he did during that phone call was an impeachable offense. And it was. It is an impeachable offense. To then say, okay, we agree on that. Now let's talk about Joe Biden. Now let's talk about Obama. Now let's talk about... That's how that conversation really needs to happen. Because what people do too often is use whataboutism in the way to say, well, my guy's not that bad. Look at your guy. And that shouldn't be the conversation. The conversation shouldn't be, yeah, my guy's bad, but what about these other bad people? It should be, yes, my guy's bad, conversation end, let's start a conversation on these other things and whether or not those things should be treated in the same way. Because then you can have like a more nuanced conversation about whether or not those things are on their own, without comparison, forget comparison, on their own, whether or not those things are good or bad. Right? Like, that's what I think we get caught up in these conversations, and that's why I dislike whataboutism, is because whataboutism just kind of deflects. It just moves the conversation away from the original topic, gets you to the other topic. Now you're on a topic that you feel better about, and then the other person doesn't get to, have any type of conclusion to their original point. So, in that case, I would say Donald Trump's conversation with Ukraine was an impeachable offense, and then talk about the other things. One finger, one thumb makes Trump's tiny mushroom not numb. Don't choke off the mushroom. No, this is not a both sides are clowns. There is much more nuance to this than that, Tammy, my friend. This is there is nuance to every conversation. Every subject is complicated. This is that type of channel. There are people, in my opinion, that, because I lean mostly left, on the left right now, that make a lot more sense, have a lot more logic, come to the building to do their jobs than there are on the right. I think that the right has been terrorized by Donald Trump. I believe that, much like a suicide bomber, he came up in there and he blew himself up right on all those Republicans, and they are shattered and they have no ability to think logically now. And I think that the Republican Party will never be the same. I do not believe that the Republican Party is going to be a party in the next 10 years. I believe that it's going to become the party of Trump, because even with Trump gone, you're going to see his family members being involved in it, and Republicans are either going to need to start something new, and I'm talking about like conservative, Barry Goldwater conservatives. They're either going to need to start something new, or they're going to need to find themselves having some more liberal values, because I do not believe that the Republican Party will survive the next decade. Not in the iteration that it previously was. Yeah, I love Howe's program. You know, I will say this to everybody. I will sometimes drive you guys nuts by being a down the middle person, because I want to hear conversations from everybody. And I do not believe that every conservative value is a bad value. I believe that there is a such thing as compromise. I do believe that there are things that you can work across the aisle in a partisan way with people. But the places that I have very little wiggle room are things like bodily autonomy. A woman's right to make a choice, that to me, that's not a question. I'm going to firmly land on the side of bodily autonomy. And I'm going to firmly believe that if you are pro-life, then you should live the pro-life life, and that is an acceptable outcome for you, and that you shouldn't push your beliefs on pro-choice people, as the very opinion of being pro-choice allows the door to be open to pro-life people being pro-life, because it's your choice to be that way. But the pro-life, if you live the pro-life that people want to today, where they're going to enforce laws that say that you can't get an abortion because they choose to believe that, in a religious reason or whatever reason that they choose to, that you shouldn't be able to do that, that takes away that right, and I do not believe that. I believe in choice in almost everything. Questioning Gene Hamilton. I think that's the one that's right here. Yeah, okay, right here.
Folks,
let's take a look at
just
it.
want to take a moment.
Hey, look, I got a Joe Biden
today.
commercial.
Not a single donation.
You know,
I
Mr.
usually get
Hamilton,
Donald Trump commercials. Okay, let me just check out here. Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, Adam, but I'm telling you, I think you're gonna find yourself. I think you're gonna find yourself a little politically homeless, man. Because I think that the right has been completely taken over. I think that's why you see people like McCarthy leaving. That's why you see people like Buck leaving. And those guys are leaving because they're going to have a lot of outside power. They're going to have a lot of lobbying power. They're going to have a lot of donating power, a lot of fundraising power. And the party of Trump, as it will be, in my opinion, considered after this point, will be for 100% sure is going to be under fire constantly by people like Kevin McCarthy. People like Ken Buck. You are going to see the Lauren Boeberts, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the Matt Gaetzes of the world constantly finding themselves at odds with conservatives within their party that are going to be funded by people like McCarthy, who is the most prolific fundraiser in their party. So, that's where I see that. You respect Bill Maher's pro-choice opinion? I'd have to look that up. That was my boy. The GOP is better off without Trump. Yeah, 100% they are. Let's see what this video is about. So this is about Project 2025 contributor Gene Hamilton, Playbook for a Dictator.
Mr. Hamilton, I don't want you to feel left out of this conversation. So I'm going to make sure I ask you some questions. Let me know if you're having problems answering them, because they really should be yes or no. let's see, you're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
Look at this
And
guy.
America
Holy
First Legal
shit.
is a member of Project
Oh.
2025, which is dedicated to creating the playbook for the next conservative administration and what it calls the Project Pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
Okay.
Look at this
And
guy.
are you familiar
Holy
with Project
shit.
2025's mandate for leadership?
That is one smug
fact, I am.
motherfucker.
Okay. And in fact, you wrote some of the sections of this mandate related to the DOJ, correct?
Sure did.
And
Look
the
at
mandate
that
outlines
smug
policy
motherfucker.
priorities for the next conservative president. Is that
Holy
correct?
shit.
It does.
You've done a great job. I just want to let you know. All right, so let's walk through some of the provisions of the mandate. It calls for eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters under the Insurrection Act of 1807. It also has the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president.
I just talked about this with Richard Abel, which I'm going to put out that podcast tomorrow. So tomorrow, if you're on around 6 p.m. Pacific, you'll get to see my interview with Richard Abel, law professor from UCLA, and where we talked about Trump and autocracy and dictatorship and Schedule F. We talked about this.
To replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists. That's
Oh, we got
probably my
another
favorite
dragon.
of it. It also prohibits
What's
the
up, Greg?
FBI from
Welcome to the
combating
Dragon
the
Army.
spread of misinformation and disinformation, like Russia and China, who are actively trying to interfere with American elections. I don't know why or how anybody can support Project 2025. And I know that there was allegedly a joke about dictators and whether or not that's funny, but in the United States of America, dictatorships are never funny. And Project 2025 is giving the
wasn't a
playbook for
joke. It wasn't a
authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in. And I know that you are doing your jobs here by making sure that hopefully some juror turns on and finds some viral moment of you spewing more of the nonsense as it relates to the president. But as practicing lawyers or licensed attorneys, I hope that we can all agree that no one gets indicted because someone says so. There takes a grand jury, and the grand jury is comprised of American citizens that sit down and review evidence, and they make the determination. And when and if Trump is convicted, it will be a jury of his peers, and it won't be the president of the United States.
Fan base is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy.
Wow. I guess that's it, huh? Woo! Woo! And I don't know if you guys read Project 2025, but we went over that on stream. Somebody said that's a conspiracy from the left. It's not a conspiracy. It's all written down. You can go read the book on their website. It's over 900 pages. It has been altered, but you can actually go and find some of the stuff that was in it before on the Wayback Machine. So this is what that person just said a minute ago. Tammy there just said this. Tammy said, "Is it a Both Sides Are Clowns channel?" This isn't a Both Sides Are Clowns channel. This is a place where I am willing to have conversations with people that disagree with me, and that I am willing to believe that some percentage of the things that I say are going to be incorrect. Some of them are going to be influenced by emotion. Some of them are going to be just factually incorrect because maybe I just have the wrong things. But I do believe that I am on the right side of this subject. I do believe that on this channel, me pushing for Joe Biden to become the president of the United States for a second time is the right thing to do. I do believe that the Republican Party as it stands today is a threat to America. That needs to be said, because I understand that people sometimes will come in here and hear me saying one thing or another and thinks that I'm one of these channels. Nothing drives me more nuts than the doomers and conspiracy theorists that come into my channel and say every single politician is corrupt. Every single FBI person is corrupt. This is not true. There are people out there that do care. There are people out there that are trying to do good things. I've said this before. There are people that are trying to do good things. They end up doing bad things while trying to do good things. There are people out there that do bad things because they think it's going to lead to good things. That doesn't mean they're right. And I don't mind having conversations about any of those things. But my values currently reside with where we are as Americans. They currently reside on the side of people like Jasmine Crockett, people like Jamie Raskin, people like Katie Porter, people like Joe Biden, Adam Schiff. That's where I currently reside, because I personally, though I don't think they're infallible and I don't think that they're perfect, believe that these are the people that are trying to do things the right way. And when I look across the aisle and I see Marjorie Taylor Greene, I see Lauren Boebert, I see 72% of Republicans that refuse to say that Joe Biden won the election, I look at that side and I go, that's a threat to democracy. That's a threat to America. That's a threat to freedom. And so I don't want anybody to get that twisted. I'm happy to have conversations. I like to argue things, and I'm always looking to provide proof, evidence, and continue to make my arguments more solid and grounded. But this is not a both sides are clowns channel. This is Trumpers should be mocked for their extremism, and if Republicans ever want to be taken seriously ever again, they will remove the cancer from their party, because you don't remove the clown, make it you still a fucking clown. That's the way I think about that.
Okay, I'm not sure I've seen a bigger backfire in my entire life. And given the fact that I'm talking about Rudy Giuliani here, and given the sheer number of times that his plan...
What I'm asking is, who are Democrats you consider to be on Trump's level as far as the threat they pose or the clown label they deserve? The latest one was that George Menendez guy. George Menendez, I wouldn't put him on Trump's level. Trump's on a whole level by himself. But I put Menendez and what he allegedly has done with selling information to the Egyptian government. I would say that he's a threat. There's a couple people on the lower levels of the Democratic level that have done things like using funds from the city to pay for bodyguards that were their husband and funneled money through them. What I say to that is, there are always going to be people in every single party that aren't going to have our interests in mind. They're going to have their interests in mind. That's human. Putting people on Trump's level is a whole fucking other thing. Like, can I think of one single person that's on Trump's level? That's a hell of a question. I can't put anybody on Trump's level. The whole idea that Joe Biden's crime family bullshit you have to have evidence. You have to have proof. I will say this. If Republicans came out with real actual evidence, indicted Joe Biden, a grand jury pushed through the indictment, because you have to go through 3 grand juries. You go through the grand jury where the federal prosecutors bring the evidence to a grand jury, say, should we indict this person? That grand jury says yes. They then indict that person. Then you go on trial with that grand jury. There's one grand jury I'm missing here. So anyways, if Joe Biden is found guilty by a grand jury of the things that Republicans have accused him of, I would then agree that Joe Biden wasn't on Trump's level, though. 91 felonies is a whole nother level, but is not a great candidate for the United States of America. But that's not going to be done. If it was going to be done, it would have already been done. They're not going to squander the opportunity to put Joe Biden on trial and impeach him during an election year if they had the evidence. They don't. But I will say, like I said, though, there are certain people on lower levels that are doing things with tax money, doing things fraudulently that they shouldn't be doing, and I'm not going to deny that. That's like denying Joe Biden's old. I don't deny Joe Biden's old. I think I'm not voting for Joe Biden's age. I'm voting for Joe Biden's legislation. I'm voting for Joe Biden's policies and his administration that he's done and what he's done over the last 4 years. That's what I'm voting for. If there are people that are doing things fraudulently and it can be shown to me that they're being done it and they're being convicted and they're being investigated, then yeah, I don't agree with those people whether they're on the left or the right. I'm not part of a party though, so I guess that makes a bit of a difference. I say this all the time on this channel. I do not have a party. I have values and I express them. And if you choose to think of me as being progressive, if you choose to think of me as being left-leaning, that's kind of your opinion. I myself do not choose a gang. I like to roll just by myself and just express the policies that I believe are important to me. Menendez is not a threat. Why do you not think that Menendez is a threat? Why do you don't think that selling you disagree that selling government secrets to the Egyptian government is a bad thing? This is my concern with people on the left right now, and I've had this concern for too long. Is that people on the left are afraid to say that somebody is bad. The people on the left are afraid to say that Joe Biden is old. You don't have to. You can admit that there are people that have done things on the left that aren't things that we can agree with. I don't agree with a lot of what Bill Clinton did and Hillary Clinton did during the 90s. They reached really hard across the aisle to Republicans and did things for corporations that I disagree with. There are things that Obama did in not putting forth antitrust legislation that he should have done, that he ran on, that he didn't do. It doesn't mean that Obama was a bad president. It just means he didn't do something that I didn't like or that I liked. There's a real problem on the left, and if I consider myself to be at least left-leaning, that we need to take care of, and that is being honest. We need to say to ourselves, Joe Biden is old. Fuck yes, he's old. And he's doing a better job than any fucking candidate that you can put forth. He's passed the CHIPS and Science Act, the American Infrastructure Act, the American Recovery Act, the bipartisan gun bills. He's canceled debt for countless Americans. I don't care that he's old. There are going to be people on the left, like the Clintons, that put forth the 1994 crime bill that I didn't agree with. And Joe Biden even didn't agree with. Joe Biden, during a debate, said it was a mistake and that it unfairly targeted marginalized people. If Joe Biden can do it, everybody else can too. We can all do that. We can admit that shit is not perfect. Because if you think any single human being is perfect and infallible, then you're just as bad as the Trumpers. Because that's what the Trumpers are. Trumpers are in a cult. They don't believe that Donald Trump has ever done anything wrong. They don't believe that Donald Trump wasn't good at policy. They think that Donald Trump was the best president of all time. I love Biden. I don't know if he's number one. Everybody's got to keep their own mind open too to the fact that you don't want to get caught in that trap. You don't want to ever be looking at somebody as being completely infallible. That's a bad look. You don't believe Bob Menendez is a threat to democracy. I don't believe he has the power or is seeking the power to end American democracy. Oh no, I don't agree that. Okay. No, but Tammy, what I'm saying, you asked me if I believe somebody was on Trump's level. I said no. What I said was that I believe people like Menendez are just as bad as people like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert. Also people that I don't think have the power or ability to establish autocracy or a dictatorship. They do support somebody that does, so that might put them like a level above them. But no, I don't agree that, Bob Menendez is going to install an autocracy in America. I don't believe that Bob Menendez is the same threat level as Donald Trump, but I do believe he's a fucking clown, allegedly, if he did the things that they say he did. I mean, that's where I'm at with that.
Have backfired. You know that's really saying something. So Rudy Giuliani was having his 80th birthday party, and during the party opted to taunt the Arizona Attorney General regarding the Arizona indictment for his involvement in a plot to overturn the 2020 election on Trump's behalf. He hadn't yet been served legal notice, and so he took to Twitter during the party, writing, "If Arizona authorities can't find me by tomorrow morning, 1, they must dismiss the indictment, 2, they must concede they can't count votes." Well,
no, that's great, Tammy. You should be working. That's what I do. I have multiple podcasts with people where I talk to law professors, where I talk to a guy who literally has 60 years of work with the Endangered Species Act, where I talk to Ira Shapiro, who worked with the Clintons, worked with the Obamas, who literally has written 3 books on Mitch McConnell. I have podcasts with a Republican primary candidate that was literally putting forth lawsuits to get Donald Trump removed from the ability to be voted for. You know, like I hear what you're saying. You should be around. I tell people all the time, talking don't do shit. You gotta be involved. You gotta be involved.
I think you can tell where this one is going. Let's skip ahead to this tweet, a quote tweet from Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays. Quote, "The final defendant was served moments ago. At Rudy Giuliani, nobody is above the law." And of course, Giuliani deleted his original tweet, but not to worry, because AG Mays posted a screenshot. Given the sheer number of times that his plans have backfired, you know that's really saying something. So Rudy Giuliani was having his 80th birthday party, and during the party opted to taunt the Arizona Attorney General regarding the Arizona indictment for his involvement in a plot to overturn the 2020.
They just don't know when to stop. This is exactly what privilege looks like. Privilege, like if you are a minority, you are not on Twitter mocking the people that are attempting to prosecute you. If you are a everyday average American, you are not on Twitter mocking the people trying to prosecute you. When people talk about privilege, when people talk about white privilege and people are like, well, I'm white and I don't have privilege, you're misunderstanding what the fuck they are talking about. This is what they are talking about. And this isn't just white privilege. This is just straight up fucking privilege. This is exactly what they're
election on Trump's behalf. He hadn't yet been served legal notice, and so he took to Twitter during the party, writing, "If Arizona authorities can't find me by tomorrow morning, 1, they must dismiss the indictment, 2, they must concede they can't count votes." Well, I think you can tell where this one is going. Let's skip ahead to this tweet, a quote tweet from Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays. Quote, "The final defendant was served moments ago. At Rudy Giuliani, nobody is above the law." And of course, Giuliani deleted his original tweet, but not to worry, because AG Mays posted a screenshot so that everyone could see Rudy's big fat L, immortalized on the internet forever. I'm sorry, but I just have to summarize what happened here because it's just that good. Giuliani, obviously feeling himself, taunted the Arizona Attorney General because he was that certain he wouldn't be served with a public post on Twitter. He was then served within the hour at his own birthday party. The Arizona AG then humiliated him online for the rest of the internet to enjoy. He deleted his own tweet, and then she posted a screenshot of what he deleted. Who could have guessed that Rudy Giuliani would look back at the days of hair dye streaming down his face?
This is also why old people have to get good at using technology. If you're going to be the AG for Arizona, like knowing how to screenshot and repost people's Twitter messages before they take that shit down and delete it, having the foresight to do that is amazing. And too many times do I even come on here and trash people for being too old and out of touch. That is amazing that she did that.
At a Four Seasons Total Landscaping parking lot and actually be nostalgic for a time less humiliating than right now.
Not the mayor.
Here's how it went down. Giuliani was in Palm Beach, Florida on Friday night when he was reportedly intercepted outside of the party at the home of top Republican consultant Caroline Wren by 2 officials from the Arizona Attorney General's office who served Giuliani with a legal notice of his indictment around 11 p.m. According to the New York Post, while most of the 200 guests had already departed, some of those who remained began screaming.
Tammy, we're not debating anything. What are you talking about, straw man? Did we enter a debate and I wasn't ready for it? Not straw manning anybody. I'm not in a debate. You gotta tell me if we're gonna be debating stuff, Tammy. If we're debating stuff, I need like a formal challenge. I'm gonna need you to like slap me in the face with a glove or something.
Including one woman who cried as Giuliani was handed the papers. According to Caroline Wren, again, whose home they were celebrating at, quote, while crime in Arizona is at an all-time high, the Arizona AG's office felt it was a good use of resources to send multiple agents across the country to storm an 80th birthday party like it was Normandy. Now, first of all, crime has actually plummeted in Arizona. Phoenix saw a staggering 40% drop in crime compared with just last year, one of the highest declines of any major city in America.
So that's actually good, too, that he's using year over year here, because the main argument you're always going to hear from this is the COVID-era statistics, which is fine. Like, even in my business, when you start comparing what we're doing now compared to COVID-era statistics, you're always going to see a pretty abnormal period of time, right? So this is actually good, because we're getting to a point now, whether or not you're a business manager or you're specifically trying to talk about politics, to start to get to a place where we have some sort of normalcy, where we can start to compare statistics, where you don't have people that are saying, yeah, well, of course from 20 to 24 this dropped, or of course from 20 to 24 this increased. We're starting to get back to a sense of normalcy, and statistics as a whole are going to be able to carry a lot more weight at this point. So something like saying from 23 to 24, a drop in 40% of homicides is actually a pretty good amount. I'd want to see like the total number of homicides period to see exactly what 40% is, because obviously going from 10,000 to 6,000 is different than going from 100 to 60, right?
Crime compared with just last year, one of the highest declines of any major city in America. So no, crime is not at an all-time high,
Tammy.
but I guess we shouldn't be surprised that someone that closely aligned with Rudy Giuliani would be that willing to serve up such a bald-faced lie.
Oh, it's a gaming channel now.
Second of all, even if crime was at an all-time high, which again, it's not, but bear with me here, Giuliani is also a criminal. This is crime. This is exactly what the Arizona Attorney General should be doing. Just because Rudy waves around an American flag and leans on his past as a prosecutor does not excuse the fact that he is a criminal now. In fact, if anything, it should highlight his criminality.
And once again, that's just holding both ideas. A person doing something good at one point doesn't mean they can't do something bad at another. A person doing bad at one point doesn't mean that they can't do good at another. The idea that people use the argument against Democrats, oh, they started the KKK, blah, blah, blah. It's like, who was Nathan Bedford Forrest? What side of the Civil War was Nathan Bedford Forrest on? If you think that Nathan Bedford Forrest would be a liberal today, a Democrat today, you have lost your goddamn mind, okay? Things change, people change, and Rudy Giuliani, having been America's mayor, or what was he the mayor? At one point or another in his life, he doesn't get to live off that forever. The shit he's doing now is fucking nuts. And he's one of the people that I believe that during COVID got his goddamn brain broken.
Because he knows better. Rudy Giuliani has become the exact kind of scumbag that he himself used to prosecute all those years ago. So no, Rudy doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. If anything, as a former prosecutor, he should know better. I spoke with my Legal Breakdown co-host Glenn Kirshner about this Arizona indictment that Giuliani will now have to contend with, and here's
But okay, so what you're saying, Adam, is he's cherry picking the homicide statistic. Okay, so that's something I would look into.
what he had to say.
Some of the differences
Checkmate,
involve,
Lincoln
in Georgia, it is kind of this multi-tentacled beast because
Dude, I love
it
BTC.
involves not only fake electors, it involves
not just 'cause
Rudy
this dude's
Giuliani
bald.
and Jenna Ellis going to the Georgia state legislature and lying to them in furtherance of the criminal scheme to try to overturn the Georgia election results. It involves, as you say, getting into or obtaining access to Coffee County voting machines that these folks like Sidney Powell had absolutely no right to access. Of course, it involves that infamous call by Donald Trump talking like...
And so this is my problem with that too, the entering into the voting machines. The opinion of people that support Trump generally is that they had the right to see the information on those voting machines. And what I would say to that is, if you had the right to do it, then it, first of all, let's just hypothetically say you have all the authority to enter into those machines on your own without any help. You should not be the person doing it. It should be an expert. It should be somebody that is experienced in doing that thing. And if your argument is, well, nobody would do that because everybody sides with Biden or the Democrats or they're all corrupt or whatever. If no one is willing to help you in that profession do the thing you want to do, that is a pretty fucking good indicator that the thing that you are doing is not what you should be doing.
Like a mob boss, just find me 11,780 votes that fell off the back
you were
of
the
a
one that's
truck
tired.
and declare me the winner. I mean, if that's not mob speak, I made up the back of the truck thing, but that was for the mob reference. But it's this multi-tentacled beast down in Georgia involving 19 co-defendants. And I think there are about a dozen defendants indicted out in Arizona. It feels like a somewhat more...
And I'll be honest with you, the greatest disappointment for me, I know a lot of people will disagree with this, but the greatest disappointment for me, if Donald Trump gets elected, is his ability to potentially avoid prosecution in the 3 trials that are remaining. Because we all know that the New York State trial is the lesser trial. Now, it's a much better trial than anybody ever gave Alvin Bragg for. Alvin Bragg really did do an amazing job of setting that trial up, and whether or not you agree with the novelty of the law or not, it doesn't matter. It is the law. The way that he is prosecuting that trial is insane. The greatest disappointment is that the RICO trial, the Florida trial, and the Washington trial are the biggest trials. They are the ones that prove that he actually did things that are felonies, that are threats to democracy. And now, when I talked to Richard Abel, and like I said, if you want to watch the podcast tomorrow, it comes out tomorrow, Richard Abel said this. He said he's not sure that he can't be prosecuted. There's just no precedent for that. But obviously, he's going to have an escape route of sorts to get out of it if he gets elected. Because that RICO trial is set up in a way that Donald Trump is in huge fucking trouble. Even with Eileen Cannon being the judge in the Florida trial, if you've read the indictment in Florida, it is set up in a way that you are like, holy shit, this guy is fucked, and everybody that is with him is fucked. The Washington trial, which Jack Smith is there doing his goddamn thing right now, trying to get it going, that trial is set up in a way that Donald Trump is fucked. And I'll be honest with you, if he can get out of those 3 trials, I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. It's going to be insane if he can get out of all 3 of those trials. Especially with the lawyers that he employs.
Targeted case primarily surrounding or involving the fake elector scheme. And that's why we have the conspiracy and the fraud.
The last time I listened to the phone call, first of all, the first time I tried to listen to it, the guy that works in the office with me, he lost his wife to QAnon. She joined the QAnon call, and he was like ready to murder me. He was like, I can't stand to hear this guy's voice. And I was like, I'm sorry. Last time I listened to it was when the Georgia indictment came out. So when the Georgia indictment came out, I read the entire Georgia indictment, and then I went and re-listened to the phone call with Raffensperger. And it's Meadows, Sidney Powell, Donald Trump, Raffensperger, and what's the Georgia governor's name? That dude. That's the last time I listened to it. The NY trial is over an accounting error. No, that's not what it's about, Adam. Adam, it's not over an accounting error. It's not over an accounting error. Come on, man. There's no way you believe that. That trial is legitimately over catch and kill. Legitimately. The New York state law, and it is a New York state law for a reason, because of ties to the mafia in that area, is that if you get a hold of information of any sort that you know can positively or negatively influence an election, and you purchase that, doesn't matter whether or not you're the president or you're a governor or you're just a dude that works for him, if you purchase that information and you subdue it, you keep it from being released, that is against New York state law. That is not a clerical error, sir. I don't know if you understand the actual law. You should look up what law that's under, my man. That phone call is really good content. The mindset of Trump was so local, and you hear it in his voice. Well, it just kind of explains who Trump is. Trump's a yes man. Once again, when I was talking about Richard Abel, he pointed this out. Trump's a yes man. He's not used to people ever telling him no. In fact, he's always used to people telling him things that he should want to hear, right? So I've said this before about Trump. I don't always apply malfeasance to the things he does. For instance, I'll use what we were just talking about, the catch and kill case. There seems to be at least once or twice during that trial that somebody, either David Pecker or even Michael Cohen, has admitted that they believe that Donald Trump was half-assed, like, let's not pay for it. Let's not do it. Let's just hold Stormy Daniels on hold, keep her in a holding pattern until after the election, where if it comes out that and I lose, I don't give a fuck. If it comes out and I won, it doesn't matter. Donald Trump most likely caught and killed those stories, not because he believed that he should do it, but because the people around him convinced him that he should. Now, that does not in any way, shape, or form get him out of that trial, because they're not trying to prove that he specifically told them to do it. It's just that he knew about it and that he was okay with it. That is what's trying to be proven. These are all things that people get wrong about these trials, that, like, it drives me nuts to have these conversations, because when I know this much about it and the other person doesn't, we have to go through all this shit again. Which I don't mind, I guess. But when you listen to that phone call with Raffensperger, when he brings up the tape with Giuliani, where he says, we have the tape, Giuliani saw this thing happening, the person, they pull it out, they have the people leave, blah, 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 all that stuff. And Raffensperger goes, sir, that's not true. Sir, we have the unedited tape. You can watch the unedited tape. You can see. He goes, we don't need it. We have Giuliani's tape. Like, that's Donald Trump's mentality. Donald Trump doesn't want to see things that are going to prove that he's wrong. Donald Trump doesn't believe that the election was legitimate, partially because people probably told him it wasn't, and he was like, oh, okay, that's good. I believe that. And partially because his ego can't take a loss. He can't. He legitimately cannot take a loss. That's why it's mind-boggling to see people defending Donald Trump. Because you could say you think that this is politically motivated, and I can agree with you. But you cannot say that you do not believe that Donald Trump is this type of person, because he is legitimately a person with a huge ego that cannot take losing. He is legitimately a person that is easily influenced by the people around him as long as they tell him what he wants to hear. Napoleon was a guy who always said the worst thing that you could have was a general that didn't tell you the truth. So if you had troop movements going on, and you had a lieutenant that lost half of his people, and then he came back and he told Napoleon everything went okay, then that army is going to be wiped out, right? Because he's gotten wrong information. He's now telling the person to do something they shouldn't do. And that's the worst way that a leader can go about things. A leader should always want to hear information about themselves or about the things that they're doing, specifically if it's negative. I don't need people to pat me on the back. I don't need people to tell me I'm doing a great fucking job. But what I do need is people to come to me and say, hey man, you chose to do this one thing and it turns out this didn't work out about it. What should we do to fix that? And Donald Trump has no ability to do that. Zero ability to do that. All he wants to hear is he's right, or how he could be right if he could twist it in some manner.
And the forgery charges for example, forging, signing these fake elector certificates. So slightly more targeted, but still a big case with lots of co-defendants.
And what's worse, this may not even be the only indictment on this same crime that Rudy will have to deal with.
Does the fact that we have this relatively late indictment in Arizona suggest that we could see cases in other states?
There is no reason we shouldn't see cases in other states. I'm going to say maybe with the exception of Pennsylvania, only because
we can't get through 4 videos and make woke not wrong. I'm going to talk a kid out of here. I rarely defend Trump, but I definitely believe that he is being treated completely differently than prior presidents. Politically motivated, I'm not a fan of his. I completely understand that, and I also agree that most of these things is what you would call politically motivated. I don't believe that Donald Trump is that much different than, say, Reagan, I'm speaking politically, policy-wise. But what I do believe Donald Trump is different by is that he does things that are really absurdly out in the open. If you want to talk about people like Nancy Pelosi, people constantly call out Nancy Pelosi's insider trading, right? Now, I don't know what the evidence for it is, but I can say, oh, I think or I feel that it seems as though that she does things that kind of go with insider trading, right? So the next thing that I want to see based off of that is actual evidence of that. Because even if I'm super mad at, let's say, Donald Trump because I think that he's doing insider trading, I still want to see evidence that that's happening. I'm not the type of person that's okay with just hearing what I want to hear. I want to know that what I believe is correct by seeing the evidence or proof put forth to show that it is. I believe that Donald Trump made a mistake in doing something like what he did at the end of his presidency. If Donald Trump, let's just say this right now, if Donald Trump had left office without trying to overturn the election results, and there is no fucking doubt in my mind that he did, because I have seen the evidence and the proof by reading the indictments, by looking into all of the shit that went on with the fake electors. I have a video that I've never put out that I've written this script for that I just never had time to do. You look into that fake elector shit, it's not the same as what happened in Kennedy-Nixon. It's not the same that happened in Tilden and Hayes. It's not even fucking close. It's insanity. He went to lengths to try to overturn the election that is mind-fucking-boggling. So when you say it's politically motivated, I actually agree. I do believe that they held on to that trial until this time on purpose. I think it was stupid, in fact. I wish they would have done it last year. But that does not discount from the fact that he did things that were illegal. It does not discount the fact that he should be held accountable for those things. And when people come out and say, well, fine, if it happens to Donald Trump, then it can happen to Joe Biden or it can happen to Obama, I'm okay with that. Because if it can be proven through proof and evidence that they have done something that is illegal, that they should not have done, that I would be held accountable for if I was put on trial, then I'm fine with that. I don't have a party preference in getting the law or people being held accountable by the law. I think that what Donald Trump did was not only illegal, it was a literal threat to democracy. It could potentially be the foundation for establishing a dictatorship, and that's fucking scary. And so, do I believe he's being treated differently? Yes. Do I hope that this sets off a chain of events where we start to hold our politicians more accountable for the shit that they do? 100% I do. Let's see. Coke is one hell of a drug. What's up, Spitfire? Exactly. Spitfire, and if everybody on your team is either jail, disbarred, you're clearly terrible and dirty, in my opinion. Yeah, that's another thing that goes with that. Another thing about that just is insane to me is that the number of people that have been disbarred, put in jail, that he has fired and insulted himself, that surrounds a dude. Look, if you're in a business, I'm a business manager. That's what I do, right? So if you're in a business and you have a CEO or you have a general manager, and he is constantly firing the people around him, he is constantly insulting the people around him, the people that work with him that do well are constantly getting in trouble, constantly being held accountable by the law for things. You are out of your mind. You're looking at that person and going, there is something crazy going on with that person, and they have to be removed before our business fails. That's literally where you would be at with that. But for some reason, we're not capable of doing that in this political situation where people look at Trump and go, no, he's this like insanely good, perfect person that's the greatest president of all time, yet he's surrounded by nothing but failure. That's insane. Like, that doesn't make any sense. There's no logical explanation other than you have either been polarized so hard against the other side that you will take anything on your side, and that's one thing, or you're literally enamored with who Trump is as a person and cannot perceive that these things could be what's going on with him, who he is. Like, that's the only explanation. Hey, what's up, Trent? What's going on?
The fake electors sort
it's
of
good now.
built in a little bit of an escape hatch, I believe, by saying, these certificates should only be viewed as legitimate in the event there's a successful election
I'm just doing
challenge.
bicep
I'm
curls.
kind of taking liberties there, but they built in a little bit of a safety cushion so it wasn't as easy to hold them criminally accountable in Pennsylvania. But in the other battleground states, we could very well still see additional prosecutions for what went on in those states.
Yeah.
And remember, this Arizona
literally
indictment
what
is
I was
only
just
the
talking
latest in a laundry list of legal issues that Giuliani is contending with right now. Still pending is the lawsuit against him by former employee Noel Dunphy for his alleged sexual harassment. Also still pending are lawsuits against him by Smartmatic and Dominion Voting Systems, with the latter having settled with Fox for a record $787 million, which I'm sure doesn't
And people do not settle defamation lawsuits unless they know they're going to be found guilty. Defamation is incredibly hard to prove. There's a set of things that you have to prove. You have to prove that you actually said something or did something that makes them that was slanderous. You have to do you have to prove that they lost money because of it. You have to prove that it impacts their ability to make money in the future. There's a lot of things that go into defamation lawsuits that are incredibly hard to prove in a way that a judge would find you culpable. So that's why you have so many people that are capable of, specifically actually with celebrities. I don't know if you guys know that, but you can mock the shit out of celebrities and they can't do anything about it because they're public figures. It's kind of actually insane. But yeah, the fact that they settled for almost $1 billion tells you right there that Fox News fucked up and did something that they shouldn't have done, and Rudy Giuliani is on deck to get the same exact fucking treatment.
exactly inspire confidence that Giuliani will be able to slither away from that one unscathed. He owes $148 million from a defamation judgment payable to Georgia election workers Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman, along with another $3 million owed to law firms that represented him in court, and $1 million owed in unpaid taxes to the government. I should note that Giuliani's defamation ruling is not dischargeable in bankruptcy, so him filing for Chapter 11 will have no bearing on his responsibility to pay what he owes. Giuliani is currently in the process of selling his Manhattan property to satisfy his creditors, who are also demanding that he take out homeowners insurance for both residences, and now creditors are seeking to force Giuliani to sell his $3.5 million Florida condo to pay off his debts. So yeah, not great on the Giuliani front.
Okay, check this out. This chocolate literally...
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so as you can say, these people are being targeted. I hate hearing the word unfairly targeted, because like that's a crazy thing to say to somebody that's middle class. Yeah, unfairly targeted? Want me to fucking tell you about it? Somebody that came from poverty stricken. Like, when I hear people refer to wealthy people as being unfairly targeted, that fucking blows my mind. I'm like, holy shit, I literally grew up in an area where if you were the wrong fucking color, your ass was getting put in cuffs. Like, I can tell you what unfairly targeted actually looks like. Defending the ultra wealthy is like kind of like an insane thing for me, because regardless of what's going on in Rudy Giuliani's life as far as his court cases go, do you think Rudy Giuliani is really going to end up being bad off? No, you're never going to see Rudy Giuliani as a homeless person. You're never going to see Rudy Giuliani as actually down on his luck. What happened with that fucking Masterson guy from that 70s show? That guy was literally convicted of sexually assaulting people, and he's in a jail right now, speaking of candy, where he has a $300 a month allotment for candy. For candy! That's not the rest of the shit. He plays tennis. He watches Netflix. Like, this idea of the middle class, specifically the lower middle class, standing for the ultra wealthy or the wealthy because they feel they're being unfairly targeted is fucking mind-boggling. I just don't understand. Well, if they go for them, they'll come for me next. No, they're already coming for you. They don't need to take down the rich people first. They're spending so much time taking you down that they haven't even gotten to the wealthy people yet. It's insane. It's insane. Let's see. How long have we gotten on here? We still got a little bit of time tonight, right? Oh yeah, we still got a little bit of time. Let's see. I want to watch this shit. I doubt it's anything worth actually talking about, but Donald Trump moves really weirdly. You guys ever seen that picture of Elon Musk with his shirt off on his yacht, where he looks like he's a Tesla truck, a vertical Tesla truck? He has that weird chest thing going on. I don't know what the fuck that is. Donald Trump and Elon Musk look like they had the same body. They look like they are an upside down pear. They look like they got like these small legs for their body. I doubt they're actually small, but for their body, and this like disproportionate upper body is very strange. So I don't know. I kind of think seeing Donald Trump trip and fall would actually look hilarious. Joe Biden just falls like an old man. Donald Trump, I have a feeling, falls like a building being imploded. $300 a suite. So, yeah, right. Exactly. Get beat up for it. Gordon Ramsay Minecraft. Dude, is there a Gordon Ramsay Minecraft? Actually, okay, hold on. We're gonna look that up real quick. Dude, if there's a Gordon Ramsay Minecraft, I don't even know how to spell Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay plays Minecraft. No shot. No way. Wait, is this just people? Cooks the Infin... Dude, of course there's like a million Gordon... Hold on. Hold on, we're gonna watch this one.
It's 2031, and I
Oh, is my wife still watching? Because if she's watching right now, she's getting excited because Ryan Reynolds is on the screen.
finally qualify for Mint 55 Plus.
Fuck you, Ryan Reynolds. Actually, I love Ryan Reynolds too.
Caramelized down. It's super fragrant and very, very sweet. That's going to literally give that wonderful flavour. Bring that back up to the boil, and it'll have a slight...
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. I couldn't play any more of that because it has music in the background. Oh, the second one? This one right here? Okay.
I'm in Minecraft to discover one of the world's best kept food secrets. Come on, look at this. Oh my lord.
Oh,
I'm here in
Jesus
search of the most
Christ.
incredible apple. And there's only one way to get them. I've never made love to a tree. I haven't climbed a tree for decades, and I mean decades.
What the fuck is this?
That is delicious. It's so juicy. An amazing discovery. With enough apples from the jungle, I'm off to...
I believe he was just eating a mango, first of all. I don't know if you guys know this. Did you guys know you're not supposed to eat the skin from a mango? I didn't know that. My boss told me that the other day, that apparently it's what is it? It's what family is it? It's poison oak? Is it the poison oak family? So yeah, you're not supposed to eat the skin of a mango. I didn't know that.
To meet a guy who's been revolutionizing farming technology. Now, this farmer produces the most amazing potatoes.
Gordon is a moron. This is real for him.
Mad potato scientist. After getting scammed for 15 emeralds, you've been drinking. I managed to get my hands on a potato.
You've been drinking. That's what he said to MTG.
This is the kind of discovery that sends me straight back to my kitchen because I've just tasted the most amazing potatoes. Next, I'm off to a place that's supposed to have the finest ingredient in the land. Oh la la. You are
Dude, are my
kidding
kids
me.
watching right now because they'd be
Getting
so
down there
excited.
was an absolute fucking nightmare. And at the bottom, another surprise was waiting for me. Oh my God. At first, I thought I found treasure, but then I made a horrifying discovery. What the fuck is this?
What the fuck? Did I actually... That's CGI, right? It's so gullible.
Dear. It's raw.
It's raw!
Having survived my partial poisoning, it's time to face today's real challenge.
All right, if you guys want to watch the last 40 seconds of that, you guys got to go to that video. That's how I do, you guys. Got to get everybody else's stuff. All right, okay. We'll take a quick look at Donald Trump and whether or not he fell off stage, and then we'll go to the paranoia video, okay? All right. It's raw! Oh, Christ. I know I have Mint Mobile, Adam. We both have Mint Mobile. And I actually like Ryan Reynolds, too. I love Ryan Reynolds, but my wife loves him more than I do. And of course, that makes me want to fight Ryan Reynolds. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, and one time I'll probably play the video for you. The original video that I put up on YouTube was me saying I would fight The Rock because I had had some beers and my kid said something about how cool The Rock was. And I said, fuck The Rock, I'll kick The Rock's ass. And my kid was like, you can't beat The Rock. And I was like, what? What? Shit, if I can't. And of course, I was really drunk. And so then we got into a talk about whether or not I could take The Rock in a fight, which also at one point or another, my wife said that if I was crippled by The Rock, that she would then leave me for The Rock, which really hurt my feelings. So I went downstairs and I made a video, really bad quality, sometime we'll play it, of me saying that I would fight The Rock and I challenged The Rock to a fight. And of course, he never accepted. So as far as I'm concerned, I won. Yeah, so The Rock is scared of me. So I just want to throw that out there, just so you guys know.
Terrible. But Americans are not struggling. You know, this is the worst platform.
What the fuck is going on?
Who put this stage up here? This is the worst. The frickin' place is falling down. I notice it keeps tilting further left.
That
was funny. Like too many other things. What a crappy contractor this was. No, it's true.
Okay, Donald Trump is just going full comedian now. He's like, this is my only chance. It's so mind-blowing to see the different... I was thinking about this the other day. So there was phone footage from a Trump supporter in the crowd that I watched, because I wanted to see the New Jersey thing, right? And I wanted to see the New Jersey thing from the point of view of not the media. No editing, nothing, right? And so I watched video from a Trump supporter's phone of the Donald Trump speech in Wildwood. And it blew my mind. And this is why it blew my mind. Because he says the worst shit when he knows that the cameras aren't on him. When he is just talking, like, he does not care. He babbles about the same thing over and over and over again, how he's a victim, how they're coming for him, and then they're coming for you after they get him, and all of this stuff. And then I wanted to contrast that to when you see him go on something like the town hall, where he talked with Dana Bash and the other dude from Fox News, and he was, I didn't say that. I would never say that. Like, the idea of a civil war. I didn't say I was going to be a dictator. All these things, like, he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I know that that's on purpose. I know that he knows that he has to present a more like professional look to the swing voters when he's on something like the town hall. But it's insane to see how comfortable he is with some of the things that he says from a Trump supporter's point of view with their phone at that Wildwood thing. It was pretty crazy to watch, dude. It was pretty crazy to watch.
That was Donald Trump in St. Paul, Minnesota. And believe it or not, it only gets worse from there. It only gets worse from him nearly taking a tumble right off of the stage. He was fixated on how bad of a job the contractors, as he kept saying, did, and the tech people, and setting up the tech side of things for this speech. Here is the continuation of that.
How about that? Before I got up, the teleprompter fell down. That's great. Great going, fellas, back there. Then they want to know why I didn't pay the bill. I get a lot of heat.
Dude, he's literally turning into Carrot Top. He's like making prop comedy. And this is why I keep telling you guys, if you guys didn't fucking vote for him in 2016, we could just all be laughing at Donald Trump. He could still be this guy you laugh at, this rich white billionaire that you think is a piece of shit, but you laugh at him. We could have done that. But no, you guys had to go and make him the fucking president of the United States. This dumbass had to go and fucking trying to overturn an election and turn himself into a fucking traitor criminal. And now what do we have? We have Carrot Face instead of Carrot Top out here doing prop comedy with teleprompters and fucking lecterns. This is your guys' fault, Trump supporters. Oh, I'm going to make a shirt. Don't steal this idea from me, because I'm actually going to do this. It's going to be the Robert Downey Jr. character from Tropic Thunder, and it's going to say, "You never go full Trump-tard." Boom. Fucking, that's a $1 million idea. Don't steal it from me.
Prompter fell down. That's great. Great going, fellas, back there. Then they want to know why I didn't pay the bill. You know, I get a lot of heat. I got a teleprompter that's gone. This one's almost gone. But how about that?
And interestingly, he was fixated in this speech for a little bit of time on explaining why it's okay that he doesn't pay people when he's supposed to all too often.
God, no!
And I'll give you insight into why this is something that's on his mind.
I'm known as being a pretty tough negotiator, and sometimes I get a bad rep. A contractor does a bad job. I met a lot of great contractors, but he does a bad job, I don't pay him. And then they say, Trump doesn't pay his. I pay my bills. I pay the bills so fast if they
Damn it, Dave!
But this happens to be, look, the teleprompter is useless. It fell
of course,
down.
Mike.
I don't know why it fell down. It's not like, I don't mind. I've lost teleprompters to wind. There's no wind in here. So why the hell did it fall down? Did you see it? It fell down.
Dude, and this is what I'm saying. For people that don't understand who Donald Trump is as a person, he loves the adoration. He is a panderer. The whole reason that he is continuing to talk about this is because people are laughing, because people are positively reacting to it. This is why it was such a bad thing for him to get involved in this type of thing. He doesn't have thoughts of his own. He just wants to say whatever people want him to say. And right now, he has seen that projecting anger, hate, vitriol, those are the things that he knows that these people glom onto. And he is willing to pander to that because he is a selfish human being. Like right now, he's willing to joke about teleprompters because people are laughing at it. He'll do this for like 2 hours now.
Down. I'm standing here listening to the great Lee Greenwood, and the teleprompter falls off the stage. Now I put my hand on this thing, and the thing tilts over. This is not... I think it was Emmer.
It's the deep state. The deep state's trying to take him out.
Maybe Emmer...
So why he's referencing the fact that he gets heat for not paying contractors, not fulfilling his financial obligations to people, and following through on agreements to pay people for certain work, is because it came out in the criminal trial in Manhattan during Michael Cohen's testimony that one of the things that made Michael Cohen feel morally icky was whenever he would go at the direction of Donald Trump, and sometimes to small businesses, people who needed these payments to be made and needed the money, he would go to them and say, okay, we'll pay you 20 cents on the dollar. That's all you're going to get. Otherwise, you're going to get nothing. And he would cheat people out of money like that.
And isn't it super funny that that's what Trump supporters think being a good business person is? Like, they'll literally defend that. They'll defend that. Like, if you bring that up to a Trump supporter, you'll go, he like cheated people out of money. He used bankruptcies to get better loans and to avoid paying taxes. And Trump supporters will literally be like, yeah, you're just mad because he's good at business. No, I'm mad because he's taking advantage of people like me and you fucking moron. Jesus Christ. Like, it's mind-numbing, man. Like, you're literally like, no, those people are representations of what he would do to me or you if we were in the same exact position. You should dislike that. Holy shit.
Again, you have this agreement with someone to do work, they do the work, and then he would send his henchman at the time, Michael Cohen, to go and say, we'll only pay you 20 cents on the dollar, or you can get absolutely nothing. And that was one of the things that made Michael Cohen and his family feel bad about what he was doing. So that has sort of brought to the surface this conversation about Trump's behavior in business and the low character nature of it. That's my assumption as to why he's talking so much about not paying people during this speech. And before playing this next clip, please make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel if you're enjoying the content by clicking the subscribe button, plus the like button and the alert bell help as well. Then we get into the part of the speech, and every speech where he just seems disoriented and confused and has a hard time articulating himself.
Is in Ohio. In fact, our great senator from North Dakota. You were there for somebody that's going to win, I think, Bernie Moreno. And we had 45. What the fuck? We had 45-mile-an-hour winds.
This new military-grade hiking stick is the Swiss Army knife of the modern era.
Oh shit! I need one of these.
And it's being given away for 50% off to Americans born before 1978.
Oh fuck!
Yes.
And I'll just do a few of these about.
I missed that one by a year.
Back to back, you have him trying to say successful.
We're going to have Maganomics. We're going to make it the most successful. We will be again the most successful country in the world.
Successful. And this one, as well as interesting, him accidentally saying that Jack Smith is overseeing his New York case.
We have deranged Jack Smith in New York. He's a deranged individual, Washington.
Right. New York or Washington?
Washington. One thing I'll give him this, actually. You know what? Luke Beasley, I'm going to defend Trump. It's really hard to remember which trial you're in when you have like 4 trials. And as VJ pointed out, all the people that are suing him outside of his indictments. When you have 91 felonies, four indictments, you have multiple civil suits coming against you because of January 6th stuff. It's probably hard to remember which lawsuit you're currently in or which trial you're currently on trial for. Which attorney is currently prosecuting you. I'm actually going to defend him on that one. That's probably hard to keep up
Washington, one of the two, for sure. You
Don't
also have this statement. Try to decipher what he's saying here.
I will fully uphold our great but very under siege Second Amendment. We're going to withhold the powers and the beauty of our Second Amendment. We need our Second Amendment.
We're going to withhold, and actually, friend of the show, Andrew Parr, flagged this clip and did, quote, "We're going to withhold the powers and the beauty of our Second Amendment." And next to it put hashtag what? Which indeed, I don't know exactly what that means. I've said it before, but Trump and the word beauty and beautiful, he uses in very strange scenarios, like Gettysburg, the Battle of Gettysburg, so beautiful and horrible, but beautiful. I don't know if he exactly knows what that word means. And the Second Amendment, so beautiful.
What up, John?
Then you have him preparing for, now we get away from the confused to him a little bit panicked now that Biden has said, all right, you want to debate? Let's debate. And they agreed to these 2 debates. And Trump's already starting to lay the groundwork to explain away why Biden overperforms and maybe trounces Donald Trump at this debate. Preparing allegations of performance-enhancing drugs.
Can't find his way off a stage, can't put 2 sentences together, although he has agreed to debate, so I don't know, maybe they know something. He's going to be so jacked up for those debates you watch.
Dude, the funny thing is they're laughing, but they believe that shit. And look, I won't even say, I'll say it. I think all of these people are on some type of pharmaceutical. They're fucking 80 plus years old. I bet they fucking take 10, 12 pills in the morning when they wake up. There's no fucking way that these guys are out there on the road doing shit without some kind of substance. The craziest thing about that is just that it's once again one of these times where it's like, yeah, sure, but let's do some whataboutism of our own. Let's say it. Let's do it like I said it. We 100%, I can believe that Joe Biden may be on some type of pharmaceutical. In fact, I would bet that he would be at his age. That is a given. Now, on the other side, let's talk about the fact that Donald Trump's White House had a laundry list of things including Adderall, including fentanyl, from fucking top to bottom, that apparently was being given out like candy in his White House. So if we're going to talk about that side, then let's talk about your side too. So what we're really going to probably have is 2 80-year-old dudes hopped up on Adderall going at it, and that seems like fair game to me. Don't be a little bitch and make up excuses for why you're about to lose. I personally think he got his ass handed to him by Hillary in those debates, and I 100% believe he got his ass handed to him by Joe Biden in those debates. And actually, I'm going to rescind it. I don't think that Joe Biden's going to be on Adderall, because you know what? When you watch those old debates of Joe Biden with Donald Trump, Joe Biden sits there and doesn't say shit, and Donald Trump just talks and talks and talks and doesn't say shit. And then when Joe Biden tries to say something, Donald Trump just interrupts him. So there's not even evidence for that, to be fucking honest. I'm rescinding it. We're going back.
Yeah, and then he got into that more explicitly in this moment.
Yeah, we talked about the MTG Crockett thing at the beginning.
Tappers,
you can go all the way back, John.
Said, I just want to debate this guy, but, you know.
Hold on.
And I'm going to...
Hold on, Trent. Did you watch the last time? Did you watch the last time those two debated? Dude, Donald Trump, I didn't think... At that time, I had nobody, Trent. I had nobody. I had not decided who I was going to vote for. I did not vote for Biden because I had decided before the election. I voted for Biden because of those debates. Because now hold on before you're like, but Donald Trump was the funniest man on the stage. But Donald Trump had the most energy. Donald Trump was the most charismatic. I've told you guys before, none of that shit matters to me. It's about substance. And if you're looking for actual substance, when Joe Biden was on that stage, he talked about things that mattered. So I don't care how many things you say. I don't care about how many jokes you made. I don't care about how charismatic you were, or how many times you made the crowd laugh or clap or whatever, you started a chant. None of that shit matters to me. What matters to me is substance. And during those debates, Joe Biden 100% provided more substance than Donald Trump did. That's my opinion.
I'm going to demand a drug test too, by the way. I am. No, I really am.
Oh, I'm always nervous.
I don't want him.
I'm not going to say I'm not nervous. I'm always nervous. I mean, if you're not nervous, you're not alive. If before a fighter walks in the ring, I think it was Mike Tyson who said that. If you ain't scared, you ain't alive. Okay. So am I nervous? Of course I am. I want to see, but it happened with the State of the Union address too. I was like, let's see, like maybe I'm fucking wrong. Maybe he gets up there and he shits the bed, and he got up there and he did his thing. He did a good job during that State of the Union address. If you watch the full State of the Union address, you have to give him props. He covered every fucking thing from top to bottom. He talked about things that you thought he wouldn't talk about. He talked about things that people heckled him with. Like he actually did a pretty good job. And that's, like I said, coming from a person that I don't give a shit about how he puts himself forth as a person. I want to hear about his legislation. I want to hear about his policies. I want to hear about what he's going to get done and his plans to get it done. And that's one of the places that Donald Trump continues to fail at. Donald Trump continues to fail in these places, and this is why I'm saying this about the debate, is that he doesn't come with real information. Donald Trump doesn't actually tell you what he's going to do. He just goes, I have a plan. No, it's a really good plan. It's the best plan. We already know what we're going to do about that. It's going to happen. That's not information. One of the things I really, really like about Robert Reich is that he ends his videos with how you can get things done, right? So when he talks about capitalism and closing the gap between the ultra wealthy and the other 99%, he doesn't just say, hey, here's all these problems. He finishes the video by saying, and these are the things that you can do about this. One of them is what I'm doing right now, being a muckraker. Charisma might not matter to you, but yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that, Trent. So I guess if I'm speaking from your point of view, you tell me if I'm right about this, Trent. You believe that Donald Trump going into this debate is good for him because you believe the majority of people that are watching are people that are American Idol style people that are going to see the charisma he puts forth, hear the jokes he makes, and that's what's going to matter the most to them. If I get that right. You tell me if I'm right about what you believe there. On my side, my defense to that would be that when you're doing a debate, and I've said this about debates before, a debate is not to convince somebody from the other side. You're not trying to convince people on the left that Trump is good. You're not trying to convince people on the right that Joe Biden is good. Instead, you're trying to win people that are generally, they haven't made up their mind yet, right? That's a debate, not a conversation. Two different things. In a debate, when you have people that are middle ground people, that generally means that they're either out of touch with politics and don't know what the fuck to think, or that they're people that are logical people that try to use critical thinking to make decisions. That means that they're waiting to see things like debates, to see what person says the right things. I would err on the side of those people being more critical thinking and logical, and that you're going to find that people, if Joe Biden does a good job, if he brings things of substance, that they're going to see Donald Trump mocking and acting like a fool, and Joe Biden presenting information like he did, if he does what he did in the last debates, that are going to make sense. And I think it's really good for him, because I think that people are going to get to see that all those clips of him stuttering, all those clips of him supposedly having dementia, don't bear out when he's having a debate. I actually am looking forward to it. One of the reasons I am looking forward to it is if he goes up there and falls flat on his face and he can't do it because, yeah, he is in mental decline, which I do not agree that he is. I mean, he's old. If you want to say that's a bad thing, we can agree on that. But I think that he's going to handle himself well. And if he gets up there and he doesn't, then I'm going to know that I was wrong about that. And then I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do from there.
Coming in like the State of the Union, he was high as a kite.
Oh, I agree with that.
I said, is that Joe up there? A beautiful row?
And why did he request no audience? Because of this. This is exactly why he requested no audience, and it's actually a smooth move by Joe Biden. Because Donald Trump, it's like I said, so it's very schoolyard bully tactics. So I know this because at one point or another in my life, I was this person, I was this kid. You get enough people around you, and you get them doing the, oh, that's what Donald Trump's looking for. Donald Trump's, because once you get rolling, you can say the dumbest shit. You can say things that don't make sense. But if you can get the crowd rolling in the right way, it doesn't matter what you say after that. You just got to say things. And you say things, and then people are like, oh, fuck, he's killing it. That's what Donald Trump wants, because that's what Donald Trump feeds off of. Donald Trump feeds off of symbolism. He wants people to see the crowd laughing. He wants people to see the crowd cheering. He wants to hear the crowd going, oh, shit, he got him. Joe Biden, smooth move on his part, is to take it back to the debates of the 80s where you had just you and him, because the real indicator of how much better that Joe Biden is in a professional aspect than Donald Trump is to put them on a stage together, and I support that because it shouldn't be a schoolyard bully debate. I know that that's great TV. I know it's entertaining. I'm just like everybody else in 2016 when Donald Trump came out there and started making fun of Ted Cruz. I was like, oh, shit. Ted Cruz does look like a fucking serial killer. I was there too. I'm just as bad as anybody else. But it's not good for democracy. It's not good for America. It's a lot like the reason you should never see your parents fighting, because they will fight, but it should be somewhere where you don't see it. I don't mean physically. It should happen somewhere out of sight, so that way you are presented with a stable relationship to help you grow. America needs a stable relationship to help them grow. And that's the reason I support no audience. I don't think it should be a fucking schoolyard bully bullshit. I don't, well, no, you know that Donald Trump also is setting conditions, right? I mean, they're both setting conditions. Once again, like I said, I think that your point of view is a well put point of view, that it appears a certain way, but I don't believe that the people that are going to be swayed by a debate are going to be the people that we think, that you're talking about. Those people are going to know a little bit about what's going on. They're going to know that Donald Trump also is asking for conditions. They're going to know that Joe Biden is asking for conditions. They're also most likely going to see exactly what I just said about why Joe Biden's doing it. And hopefully they see the positive in that, because I really do, whether or not you agree with Joe Biden or not, I think all of us should agree that we need to get away from this politics as entertainment kind of shit and get more into politics being managers doing their job and keeping the country stable. No one should ever want to root for the plane to crash, right? Like, you shouldn't, well, at least it was entertaining. That's not a good look.
By the end of the evening, he's like, well, it was exhausted, right?
Trump's current conditions.
Actually, I remember.
Trump's current conditions, the ones that I know about, is that he asked for a different schedule. He's asking, his condition is to have a crowd. He's asking for a drug test for Joe Biden. He has literally asked for Joe Biden to get a drug test. Other than that, I can look him up. But yeah, he's asked for conditions as well. This is a rather new topic, so I'd have to get a little bit further into it to speak well to it. But those are the ones I do know about.
For him being pretty energetic throughout the whole State of the Union address. And yeah, so it's interesting. He was saying so boldly, because he's so confident out in public, I'll debate Biden anywhere. He can decide the specifics. I don't care who moderates, whatever. Anytime, any place, up to Biden. And now that Biden goes, all right, cool, let's do it. Trump's like, well, let's do a drug test though, because
I think that we're on rocks.
Either I think he'll use that to say, well, Biden didn't agree to a drug test, and that could be his justification for not doing the debate, or it won't happen, obviously, and Trump will still go through with the debate, and he can say, well, that's clearly Biden did so well because he was on drugs. Obviously, that's the
Luke
explanation.
is obviously
Which
keeping the part
you're
where
not all
Trump falls off
confident and
stage
strong
till
and
the end.
powerful and know that you could defeat Biden in debate if you have to use.
When you say the world is not stable, I think that, once again, that's a little bit of the doomerism of today. So this is what I will say about that, is I don't believe that the world right now is that much more unstable than it has been at certain points in history in the recent past. I tend to be a person that's very positive and optimistic. I believe that you have one life, and that if you spend your whole life being super concerned about either outcome happening, that you're wasting the time that you have. Specifically, if you have family, you should be spending that time making your family happy. You should be making yourself happy. I think that we are over inundated with a news cycle and influencers that I don't consider myself one, but I'm sure that most people will be like, bro, you're one. So you have all of this constantly being told how bad things are. And I think that's why we have the perception that things are so bad. There's always wars going on. It's just that you're not always hearing about them. There's always bad things going on in politics. There's always shady things going on, or people being put on trial that people think shouldn't be. All of these things are happening due to the advent of the internet, and specifically due to the advent of things like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're being over inundated with knowledge, and we're starting to have it triggers our evolutionary trait that has us wired for pessimism. So one of the things that you learn by looking into evolutionary traits is you learn that human beings as a whole are wired to think about negative outcomes. And that's important because obviously a negative outcome can lead to loss of life, right? Like that's the end of your journey if you have a negative outcome of that sort. Whereas you're not wired for positive outcome or to be concerned about positive outcomes, because any positive outcome is to continue to live, to move on. So when we see things that are negative posted online, we're attracted to them because we're wired for that, to be concerned, to be worried, to say, oh, there's all these wars going on. Oh, there's this real instability in politics. Oh, there's lots of crime, this or that. And it's because that's an evolutionary trait, and you have to buck that trend. It's the only place, because biological evolution is a very snail's pace kind of thing. You have a brain. Your brain is literally the only tool that can defeat evolutionary pessimism. So you have to do your best to wire yourself towards positivity and recognize that this is quite possibly not the worst time that we have ever lived in. I'm going to put money on that this is not the worst time. I remember listening to Kurzweil talk to Joe Rogan, where Joe Rogan tried to make that argument. Oh, everything's super bad, and anxiety is way worse, and stress is way worse. And Kurzweil said, you think so? You think it's worse than World War II? When millions of people were dying? When, like, your husband is over in a war where literally a Holocaust is going on? You think that this is worse than that? It doesn't, like, make a lot of sense. VJ, this is my theory. You think the MAGA section will break off from the Republican Party and might end the two-party system. Oh. Well, I've said that there are silver linings. I do think that there are silver linings to what is going on here. I've said this before. I think that Trump as a whole has provided people with an ability to look at and say, wow, this is how shitty a politician that doesn't know what he's doing could be. This is how bad it could be to have a person in power that is really influenced by the people around him. You know, like there's silver linings to this. I think that's what I'm saying, is that you can't always look at things as extremely negative. For instance, to be honest with you, AI is moving at an extremely rapid pace, and you're probably going to see some things in the medical field that are going to really off balance the negativity of what we're seeing in our current, like, economical or political atmosphere. I mean, you know, things like cancer getting cured is, like, insanely positive, and, you know, like, you're going to take some good with the bad. You take some bad with the good. Check this for yourself. Think of an ex relationship. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's what you're wired towards.
These excuses,
yeah. Here,
like.
Speaking of, let's check out the doomerism. AI for president. Yeah, you can't always come back from crazy. It's true. That's why I think a lot of people got broken during COVID, and I don't think that, unfortunately, Woke Dragon has been the person who's told me the most that I'm a little too positive about reaching certain people and helping them out. And I even saw in my most recent video, which you can click, it's in the linked comment, in the pinned comment, is there's people there that Adam Mockler, he tries to reason with them, and he gets irritated. He makes a sarcastic remark, and he qualifies it and says, hey, I know most of the time I try to reach these people and talk to them in a way, but let me just tell you, I'd already been there for 15 minutes with them. They had already claimed that Joe Biden wasn't the president, Donald Trump was, and then made a bunch of hypocritical statements. And he's like, and that's why I reacted the way I do. 100%. There's always going to be those people out there that, it makes me sad. I want to have conversations, and I want to help people kind of come back to the reality. It makes me, sad to think that, you've got people that have, children, that have wives, that have loved ones, that have friends that miss them, that want them back, and that they're so saturated with all this negative information, all this doomerism, all these conspiracy theories, or that they've literally went full pot committed to being Donald Trump's #1 supporter, that now they've missed out on having relationships with their children, having relationships with their mother, father, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins. The fact that they go to work and they're ostracized by people because people just don't want to hear about all the bullshit that they believe. That's sad to hear, sad to think about. You want people to do the best they can, but like Woke said, he's gonna break me of that. I appreciate you, Tired. All right, speaking of the crazy, this is why I wanted to watch this specifically because of what I was just saying. Because I do think that there is an enormous amount of doomerism in our society right now. And I also think that that's it's a bit of the monotony of life. It's like I've said before, people wake up, they have to go to work, they come home, they watch YouTube, they go to sleep, they wake up, they go to work, they come home, they watch YouTube, or TikTok all day long. And they're overstimulated and undereducated, and they want to believe that there's going to be some kind of climactic end to their life. This is why, heaven exists for religious people. Me, myself, as a non-religious person, sure, I want to know what comes next, but I'm not looking forward to it because I have children that I love, a family that still enjoys me being around, and friends that I like to talk to. So I wanted to watch this because this seems to play into what I'm talking about, but I have not watched this video yet, so for all I know, I could be wrong.
This 2024 eclipse may very well be a prophetic sign.
Could this be a sign of the final end times moment right before the tribulation?
This is a prophetic warning to America.
If Jesus Christ, when he was on the earth last, there was an eclipse.
VJ, if you want to help me out or whatever, you have my... you sent me emails, right? You've sent me an email before? I'm pretty sure you have. Send me an email, and we'll see if we can work on it. A lot of the times when people offer me help, the reason that I don't take help is because I'm so busy with all my personal life and my professional life stuff. There you go. That's my email right there. I get so busy with everything that I can't always guarantee very good communication with you. But yeah, I would appreciate the help. If you want to help me with editing and stuff like that, send me an email, or you're on Discord. Okay. Yeah, let's work something out. Maybe I don't even know the fucking first little bit of it. But let's work something out, and you can maybe help me out with some stuff. And if we ever get to a point where things are financially viable, maybe we can talk about working out an agreement of some sorts. But that's there for you. Yeah, you want to help me out, email me. Let me know what you can do, what your skill set is. And the only thing I will say is 100%, I am a very, very busy person. I work 12, 14 hours a day nowadays. And the rest of the time spent with family, so my communication is not always the best.
This 2024 eclipse may very well be a prophetic sign.
Could this be a sign of the final end times moment right before the tribulation.
This is a prophetic warning to America.
If Jesus Christ, when he was on the earth last, there was an eclipse, and if there's another eclipse, could he be coming back?
The obvious thing is that he's coming very soon.
He is in fact coming very, very soon.
Evangelicals. They have long looked to the sky in search of meaning and purpose, scouring star clusters for some sort of cosmic sign or astronomical omen.
The number one reason God created the sun and the moon was for signs.
Some represented peace and prosperity, others gloom and doom.
Some have speculated that this will bring a shower of death, be it chemical weapons or perhaps even nukes.
But the most terrible.
And like I said, this is my thing with all this stuff. One, I think people live really boring lives and they want it to be more fantastical. I suggest reading Brandon Sanderson. He's an amazing writer. He's got great fantasy stories. I could suggest the, which ones do I have over here? The Arclight, Archives, what is it? God damn it. Chronicles, Arclight Chronicles. Stephen King, another great writer. George Martin, all great fantasy writers. Read that shit. It's much better, much more healthy for you. But I believe people live really boring lives. They make shit up. Obviously, some people are mentally ill, or have disorders of sorts. That doesn't mean specifically that you're going to be a doomer or anything like that. I'm just saying that certain people are more gullible towards these types of things. And then I want people to realize this, because this is something I think people do not accept. And that is, some people financially benefit from these things. They know that there is enough people out there that believe these types of things that will give them their money, and they are grifting off of you. Some of them are grifting, some are doing it because they like doing it and they like people like enjoying the same things, and if financially benefits them, sure, why not? But it's still not good for you. It's still not good for you.
Terrifying sign of all was the dreaded moon shadow. And when the 2017 solar eclipse passed right over the United States, it sent shockwaves through the evangelical community.
It only touched the United States. It didn't touch anybody else. And that's the first time that's happened since the year of the birth of our nation.
The tail end of the eclipse passed over the Atlantic Ocean, and where it passed over developed like 3 major hurricanes. And so all these people said it's nothing. It's like, no, it was something.
And as another eclipse loomed on the horizon,
and this is, once again, this is the problem with people thinking they're experts on everything, is you could even, like, just using common sense. I am not an expert on anything. I am literally going to talk to David Lipsky on Tuesday, who is a climate change guy who also debunks conspiracy theories for my next podcast. But the moon moving between the Earth and the sun, the shadow, all that. There are physics that go into that potentially could have caused changes in our weather patterns. That's why NASA was doing experiments during that time. Somebody was talking about, what is it, the HARP thing or whatever, where it's like, oh, they were just doing experiments between the 8th and the 13th, and that's when all those solar flares were happening. It's like, yeah, you fucking dumb shits. That's when they're literally studying that shit. They didn't cause it. They're trying to experiment during a time when it exists. It's mind-blowing that people can be this, like, insanely dull. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Their best and brightest began to notice patterns.
It's like a convergence of warnings.
Could this be pointing to
nowhere in the Bible does it say that, Adam?
Could this
be
a sign?
I'm glad somebody pointed that out for me.
In particular, they homed in on which cities the 2 eclipses passed over.
The 2017 eclipse, talk about some of the places that it went over, because I think it's very significant.
These 2 eclipses are 7 years apart, and the shadow of the first one goes over 7 cities called Salem. 7 years later, it goes over 7 cities called Nineveh.
7 and 7. 7.
When we watched the Michael Knowles one the first time, I said this, man, you are not going to find me agreeing with Michael Knowles very often, okay? And that was one of the first times when Michael Knowles was like, well, this stuff kind of seems a little bit weird to be saying this. I was like, holy shit, I have to agree with Michael Knowles. Oh my God.
7 cities called Salem, 7 cities called Nineveh, and 7 years apart.
It went over 7 cities called Salem. And what did that speak of? It spoke of 7 years of peace.
This was 7 years ago.
What does that word mean? It's peace, right? This one is going through 7 cities of Nineveh. You can't tell me that all of that is a coincidence.
There's so many prophetic meanings embedded in this eclipse. It's sort of mind-blowing.
Was the Lord trying to send a message?
This eclipse is programmed at the time of creation, right? These 2 eclipses were programmed by God in creation at the time of creation, and it only unfolded now, at this very moment in our time. And then God arranged for certain people to build these cities exactly where that path of that eclipse was going to go.
But what did any of this mean? It all seemed so cryptic. Why was an
Yeah, and that's what, like, the place that people never get to is, what does this mean then? Why would all this be set out in a certain way? Like, I could literally right now cut off my foot, right? And I could probably I bet I could get 1 million views, 10 million views. I bet I could go viral and make a bunch of fucking money, right? By just cutting off my foot right now. This is not financial advice. Don't fucking anybody do that. Right? I could do that. And then that would be part of God's plan? Like, part of God's plan was me chopping off my foot and getting 20 million viewers? But why?
The present God attempting to communicate by casting shadows on
I
the
saw a
earth.
pretty good memory
Although,
trait.
to be fair, the last time God set foot on earth, it didn't go so well for him. He needed a mouthpiece. Astronomers pay attention to the sky, but they're too rational with their pesky scientific explanations. If only there was a group of people with hyperactive agency detection who see God's work everywhere and who would attribute meaning to the seemingly benign.
I wasn't interested in astronomy so much when I was a child, but my husband introduced me to it. When he showed me Saturn through his telescope, that was so beautiful and amazing.
And once again, that's like, I understand because it's like mind-blowing. I want to look up what this is called. It's the Boebert effect. Is that what it is? Yeah, Bader-Meinhof. Here we go. Okay, so it's called Bader-Meinhof. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not. But it's called the frequency illusion. It's a cognitive bias in which a person notices a specific concept, word, or product more frequently after recently becoming aware of it. So this is the reason if you get a black Subaru, you will notice black Subarus a lot more often. You will say, oh my God, I bought a Nissan, and I've never seen this many Nissans before. You will date a Mexican girl, or, sorry, what is it? A Latino person. And now you see Latino people. Oh my God, it turns out like they're all over the place now. We have this phenomenon in this city I live in because it's mostly white people. And they're like, oh yeah, I had a Mexican waiter at the restaurant I was at the other day, and now I see Latinos everywhere. No shit. It's coined in 1994 by Terry Mullen, a letter to the St. Paul Pioneer Press. Letter describes how after mentioning the name of German terrorist group Bader-Meinhof once, he kept noticing it. This led to other readers sharing their own experiences of the phenomenon, leading it to gain recognition. It was not until 2005 when Stanford linguistics professor Arnold, I'm not going to say his last name, wrote about this effect on his blog that the name frequency illusion was coined. Several possible causes behind frequency illusion have been put forth. However, the consensus seems to be that the main processes behind this illusion are other cognitive biases and attention-related effects that interact with frequency illusion. So this is the reason that I say this. The reason why I wanted to watch this video is because you can see how this coincides with something like Trump, where people go, no, if you notice that this happens to him, it always happens to just him. Or you notice that no one else has this ever happened to before. It's because you're noticing something about that person, and then you're constantly using your bias to apply it to that person, right? So people are not very good at self-analyzation. People are not very good at reaching into their own flaws and imperfections and drawing them out and looking at them and saying to themselves, ooh, that might not be good for me. So instead, what we do is we provide ourselves with illusions of perfection, illusions of expertise, illusions of just, everyday ability. And when you do that, you tend to gloss over your own imperfections and do that for others as well. That's why I think you see that with somebody like Trump.
That's why and it is a Christmas tree ornament without the tree, without the hooks, and it's just hanging there. And you just can't deny that that's God, and He designed the universe that way.
Where could he find a large community of doomsday preppers eagerly edging to the apocalypse?
So the significance of all of these things tells me that Jesus is coming back soon, and it's a lot sooner than what you think.
We're entering a season of war, and it'll go for about 2 years.
A great shaking is coming to America.
There is a shaking that's coming to America.
And this shaking will affect the economy, will affect the financial realm, something like a famine in the land. I believe even services.
And see, I could say that. This is what drives me nuts about people like being so gullible about this shit. I can tell you, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to see some pretty bad things happening. And then when that happens, don't forget to come back and like and subscribe my channel, because I'm a prophet.
And infrastructure will stop.
Bingo! He decided to recruit Mark Blitz, Sid Roth, and AC Katz to communicate his message to America. Armed with Google Maps and a little Bible code, they became unstoppable.
In the 2017 eclipse, I've actually recorded 177 locations, and I've logged 252 locations within the path of totality in the 2024 eclipse.
We had one 7 years ago in 2017, and that was the only total solar eclipse since we've become a nation that only crossed the United States and then disappeared in the ocean. It didn't cross Mexico. It didn't cross Canada. It's like this solar eclipse was talking about 7 years of pending judgment coming. So this seventh Shemitah that is coming up
Shemitah!
could be the wrap up, not just for America, but everything.
Could be prophetic.
Across the prophetosphere, other evangelicals joined the fray, parodying the growing hysteria into a fever pitch, and their audience ate it up.
Where these two things cross is in a place in the United States that is known as Little Egypt. And that's a really big deal because it's in Egypt where you have the 7 years of plenty and then the 7 years of famine.
Could this sign be saying America is going to war in the next 7 years, and that possibly the rapture could be in the next 7 years? That's a possibility.
It's in our best interest to want America to continue to prosper, or at least in my best interest, because I only speak English and tongues.
He was about to say he only speaks English and tongues. I don't want to be mean, but I am from the trailer park, so I'm going to say this. That man is high in one eye. My friend, that is pink eye. You have touched your booty hole and then touched your eyeball. You should go see a doctor, sir. I'm going to tell you this right fucking now. You might not be right about the world ending in 7 years, but you don't go get that shit looked at, you ain't going to be able to see out of that eyeball anymore. He might not be able to now. I am not a doctor.
That's it.
What day is it coming?
April 8th on the pagan calendar. Nissan 1 on the biblical calendar.
Nissan, ooh.
Why are photographers ditching their expensive cameras?
Oh, that's a good question.
Super zoom lens?
Oh, I've been sucked in.
Because it clips on your smartphone and lets you take stunning pictures.
The day of Nissan 1 is the...
I just want to tell you guys this. I started showing ads on the channel because I realized I've been missing out. I have realized that by not watching the commercials on YouTube are fucking hilarious. They are some of the weirdest things I have ever seen in my life. And I was like, I gotta start playing these on stream.
Beginning of the Jewish religious calendar. This is the day that God's glory fell on Moses in the tabernacle. It's also the day that
the left and the right are coming together
died for offering
to get each
strange
other
incense on God's altar in the book
That's
of
what I'm
Leviticus.
talking about.
The
That's what I'm
tribe
talking about.
associated with the month of Nisan is the tribe of Judah. And what do we know about the tribe of Judah? Well, Jesus Christ is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Could the eclipse taking place on the first day of Nisan be a sign that the Lion of the tribe of Judah is coming back very soon?
There were just a few problems, though. For starters, the 2017 eclipse didn't pass through 7 cities called Salem, and despite totality passing over 15,321 cities in 2024, only 2 of them were actually called Nineveh. There were twice as many cities that it passed over called Kirby, but if God was trying to communicate with video game references, it was lost on his largely boomer audience. Also, the eclipses were less than 7 years apart, and neither of them occurred on Nisan 1.
Give or take a few months.
Facts ever gotten in the way of a good prophecy?
It actually happens on April the 8th. You know what April 8th is? It's 4/8. Why is that a big deal? Because Exodus 4 verse 8 is where God Almighty tells Moses, if they do not believe you or heed my message of the first sign, they may believe the message of the second. That's extraordinary to me.
It makes a kind of an X, which is the Tav in the ancient Hebrew. When
Guys, come on, man. Like, these are simple people. They're simple people. You know how you know they're simple people? Because they're making something this fucking complicated. Okay? You're looking for shit that don't exist. This is literally some Occam's razor type of shit right here. It's also some Christopher Hitchens type of shit, too. Hitchens' razor is, if it is presented with no evidence, it can be dismissed without evidence. This is fucking ridiculous. This is why people can't take you guys
that means
seriously.
a prophetic sign. If you look at the two of them together, it looks like an X across our nation.
Where is the center of the X? Of the eclipse?
That's a good question.
Over a little
Tyre.
town named
Try that
Rapture, Indiana.
I'm sure we'll be
There's
happy.
another one that happened
You
in
guys are doing that study.
2023. It's a little bit of an annular, it's saying right here.
Yeah, it's a good
and that
study.
almost makes an A.
All of you
and
should
Jesus
do
says,
that
I am
study.
the Alpha and Omega.
What's amazing about
any
these
advice
two
at
Hebrew
all.
letters that are being formed over the United
Allegedly.
States through these eclipses is that the Aleph and the Tav are the first and last Hebrew letters with numerical value.
I don't have a cool ass
Could this
legend.
be a foreshadowing
I need a
that
legend.
Jesus Christ, the first and the last, is coming back very soon?
These last three eclipses in this nation formed a
This dude's
letter
doing it in his
A,
car.
Aleph, which is the first alphabet
work,
in
sir.
the Hebrew.
Sir,
and
you
that
are late
represents
for work.
Alpha,
Get out of your
or
goddamn
God
car
is
and go
signing
inside.
on this nation, America.
Making
The
these
whole
videos.
concept of God signing his name on the continental U.S.
It's mind-blowing.
It's absolutely mind-blowing. And it's like, it's...
Hold on, Adam, I just saw your comment, and I just got to say something about the end of it. I will be officially single shortly. Now, sir, I'm going to guess that you are referring to a divorce finalization, but I am going to say this, that we could go a few other ways, Adam. When someone says I will officially be single shortly, there are a couple other places that my mind goes to. Maybe that's just me.
Except
I figured
this
that's what it
wasn't
was.
The Hebrew alphabet.
There's
It
a
was
couple other
Phoenician.
places we could have went
And then
with that
the
one.
formation of it, how it looks on the map, alpha and omega, the beginning and the end.
That's not an omega.
Sorry about
We've
the
seen the
divorce,
Hebrew
man.
letter
Not to
that
laugh at you,
Aleph is
divorce.
being formed over
I hope
America
that
with these
works out for you,
eclipses,
my
but there's another Hebrew letter that's being formed through the X, and that's
I
the
make some
Tav.
dark
The
ass
Hebrew letter
jokes.
Tav's numerical value is 400. The sun is claimed to be 400 times larger than the moon, and 400 times farther away from the earth than the moon. The number 400 does hold biblical significance. God gave Abraham a warning using the number 400. You shall surely know that your seed will be strangers in the land that is not theirs, and they will enslave them and oppress them for 400 years. This Hebrew letter Tav is an X, and it's just like the X that's being formed by these solar eclipses over America.
No, I wasn't going to split hairs about the sun actually being 400.8 times the size of the moon, or that the distance of the Earth to the sun and moon fluctuates
a lot of give or
massively throughout
take.
the year by up to 5 million kilometers and 50,000 kilometers respectively. For my American viewers, that's about the length of 850 million Ford F-150s and 60,000
Nice!
AR-15 stacked in
Fuck,
tandem
he's
respectively.
getting a subscribe just
what
for
I was
that.
more interested in was the
Hell
meaning
yeah, brother.
assigned to the letters.
F-150.
Have these YouTubers and evangelicals discovered a hidden Bible code? So I hit the books, and it turned out he was in fact referencing an ancient Jewish practice of assigning numbers and meaning to letters and words, a practice known as gematria. I had to learn more.
It is a very complex study, to be honest. There's probably...
Gematria is also a QAnon thing. I don't know if you guys know that, but they do the whole gematria thing. That's how they believe they know that RFK Jr. is actually still alive and going to be the vice president for Donald Trump. Is that they use gematria? Oh my God, why? And what is it like? Why did it's always numbers? It's just that if you use numbers, you sound smarter, right? I need to use more numbers. I feel like I'm failing. I don't use enough numbers on the stream, so I don't make myself look smart enough. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can get 10,000 followers. Boom. Fucking A.
I would say 30 different ways of doing a gematria. Sometimes we count the letters and we don't skip tens and hundreds, and it goes literally 10, 11, 12, 13,
I'm
14,
pretty
15,
sure
16,
RFK
22.
Jr.
With
is
Tov being
dead, but I
22.
could be
Sometimes
JFK
we don't
Jr.
count
JFK
the
Jr.
zeros. So
Is
we
there
have
an
number
RFK
one is
Jr.?
Aleph.
Oh, yeah,
Yud is
that's
one
the
because you
vice
take out the
president.
zero. Kuf
There's
would
too
be
many
also
fucking
one because you take
Kennedys.
out the two zeros.
Sorry,
Then there's all
JFK
kinds of
Jr.
other types of gematrias where you actually add up the letters in a cumulative way. Sometimes you cube it, sometimes you even quadruple it, and there's sometimes I call it curl. You add the whole word and then you add one more number.
Okay, Adam, don't you dare fucking clip that and then tell people that I have dementia. I know how you fucking guys do this kind of stuff, okay? Don't you dare clip me saying RFK Jr. instead of JFK Jr. and then share that shit on social media saying that I have dementia. Because even if I do have dementia, I don't want people to know about it.
For the sum total of them all.
So Tov can be 400, but it can also be 22 or 4 or any countless number of other combinations. It can mean sign, but it can also represent death and life, death, undeath. The moon was foreshadowing a zombie apocalypse?
Oh!
Probably.
There is a location as you get further towards the middle
I'm much more into
of
that kind
the
of
2017
conspiracy
eclipse,
theory.
and that's St. Joe. Joe Biden became the president in 2021, and he's also Catholic.
Ooh, you really missed an opportunity here because it also passed over the city of Old Joe.
At the very beginning of the 2017 eclipse, you see the city of Donald. Donald, that's, everybody knows who Donald is, especially back in 2017, right? There was only the Donald. Well, he just so happened to become the president of the United States.
Ah, yes. How could we have missed the thriving metropolis of Donald, Oregon? But aren't prophecies supposed to happen before the event takes place?
What I found within the crosshairs of the 2017 eclipse and the 2024 eclipse,
Don's
I
like,
found
what the fuck
Macondo,
about
Illinois.
me?
So I thought, well, what does Macondo mean? And it turns out that Macondo in African origin means woman of strength, and in Sanskrit, it also means woman of power. And it just so happens that...
Okay, I just want to say this. God damn it. You know how much good these people could be doing in the world? This woman is literally talking about what words mean in Sanskrit and other languages. Like, if she was using her powers for good, or as I pointed out multiple times before, just writing fan fiction, okay? That would be fucking helpful. That's interesting. I'd read those books. Like, do you know how much good she could be doing for the world using all that time?
Kamala Harris became the vice president of the United States at that time, about halfway through between 2017 and 2024. Not only is she the second African-American woman.
Can you imagine if this is your auntie right here? Can you imagine how lit Thanksgiving is? Like, you always, tell me this, you pick the seat next to this woman at Thanksgiving every year. If you don't, you are a fucking loser, okay? Because if that's my auntie, all right, we are going to have the most amazing conversations. Other people are going to look at us weird, but it's going to be fucking awesome.
And first South Asian American senator in history, but here she is, the powerful woman.
It actually means mango tree in Sanskrit. I'm not sure what her source is here, but I did find one website where a user from Washington recently submitted the main meaning as woman of power in Sanskrit, which kind of makes me wonder if AC Katz lives in Washington. Also, African isn't a language and Africa isn't a country. But there's no time for a geography lesson. The return of Christ was imminent.
And people get sick of this. You guys have been saying it's the end times forever. But when has it ever really been this bad?
How could I have missed it? Despite historians with all their facts and data arguing that we're living in the most peaceful time in human history, it truly has never been this bad.
You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Oftentimes, atheists or people of other faiths will mock this verse. They say, there's always been wars and rumors of wars going on. Yes, ever since the fall of man in the Garden of Eden, wars and rumors of wars have gone on, but never to the degree that we are seeing right now. Never to the degree where every superpower in the world is either at war or threatening to be involved in a war.
Never in human history have we ever seen the entire world go to war, and it certainly hasn't happened twice in the last century or anything.
No way. It never happened.
The end was surely not. Stocking up on guns and ammo and cramming their bunkers full of Jim Baker doomsday buckets, evangelicals across America grabbed their eclipse glasses and waited. At first, nothing happened. Televangelists seem...
Shit is so crazy. It's so bad that we all got in cars and drove to other states to view a solar eclipse.
to fall silent on the topic. But then, weird things started to occur.
Millions of locusts will emerge from the earth.
The bugs are coming. I hate insects.
Get ready, all thanks to a combo of two separate types of cicadas that haven't bred at the same time since 1803.
It will be somewhat similar to what the Bible prophesied in the book of Revelation chapter 9 verses 2 and 3. The sun and sky were darkened by the smoke from the abyss, and out of the smoke locusts came down on the earth and were given power like that of scorpions of the earth.
Despite
hell yeah.
biologists
Do I get one?
claiming that cicadas weren't actually locusts, don't swarm like locusts, don't bite people, wouldn't cause widespread famine, would actually be good for the soil, and that we had nothing to worry about other than the loud noise. What did biologists know? We were clearly rapidly approaching the end of the world. Plagues were just around the corner. All of the prophets were in agreement. Kind of. Well, except for their interpretations, like when some of them interpreted the first eclipse as a sign of war, while others interpreted it as a sign of peace, and there was some war but nothing global, so they both marked it down on their bingo cards as a hit.
Now this thing happens, and it happens to say you got 7 years of peace.
The last one was 2017. Well, it's been almost 7 years, and it went over all these places named Salem, or peace. And America has had relative peace. There's been no world war that we know of over the last 7 years.
Last time we kind of expected wars. It was, all of the sources said there would be wars after the last solar eclipse. And in retrospect, I'm sorry, it happened 7 years ago, and the last 7 years have been very interesting between COVID and the wars.
And despite the eclipse passing right over Uvalde, Texas, and who knows how many other cities where school shootings have occurred, these evangelists were oddly silent on the topic of gun reform. Despite all of that, the writing was on the wall. God had passed 2 moon shadows over Little Egypt, and the message couldn't have been more clear.
God. If a man wears this, he's definitely getting
lucky
tonight.
Most jeans are either super baggy, too stiff, or have a terrible...
I hope you guys got some tight fit
Only
jeans.
we could figure out how to interpret these astronomical smoke signals.
I thought, well, hey, if I take my finger and cross it over the United States, can I create a story here? What locations are there? Doesn't even come close. So if anyone's thinking that, you can do that anytime. And the point is, it didn't happen that way.
And the nice thing about eclipses, false prophets can't manipulate them. And they speak in every language.
With this comforting thought, I decided to take a crack at it. So I grabbed my Bible and got to work. Scouring my list of 15,321 cities in the path of totality, I noticed that it passed right over the cities of Thomas and Westbrook. That's me.
It's not a coincidence. Too many people put things off as a coincidence, but I believe God's hand was all over that.
While all these evangelicals were caught up in America-centric navel-gazing, I knew right then and there that this eclipse wasn't about them. It was all about me.
This is a huge prophetic sign.
Next, I noticed that someone had photoshopped the image of the totality forming an aleph so as to warp the path of the eclipse, and they had cropped out the rest of the trajectories. So I zoomed out, created a more accurate map of all three, and discovered that they actually form 3 X's, 3 Tavs. Tav can represent 4, which is my lucky number, and 3 4s is 12. Every year, my birthday is exactly 12 months from the last birthday.
Okay, well, that is a lot of coincidences. I mean, one would have to admit that's a lot of coincidences.
It also passed right over the cities of Nuts,
They would
Butts,
have to
Dickus, and
do that,
Ding-Dong,
Michael Knowles.
all of which are things I have.
Jesus,
You can't tell me all of that is an accident.
That, along with the 3 X's, did God want me to start an OnlyFans? Nah. Although it did pass through the city of Footville, as well as Slim and Pickens, Oklahoma. I had spent a year in Oklahoma, and I knew how sexually repressed the...
What's the Lincoln Project got? We'll watch one last video, okay? If you guys want to watch the rest of this video, because that's how I do you guys, you got to watch this on your own at the thing, because we're gonna... What is it? Lincoln Project? Lincoln Project's got it. Which one are we watching? And we're gonna call it a night because I got things to do and people to see. Is that how the song goes? What have I done? Oh no. Oh no. Is it gonna be about the January 6th people going to prison? Oh no. Alright. This one is what we're talking about.
They like to say I'm a threat to democracy.
Hold on. damn, Trump, dude, you click a video with Trump in it, and he doesn't even. There's no foreplay. Just jumps right into it. Raw dogs it. No lube.
They like to say I'm a threat to democracy. What the hell have I done?
And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down. Anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
And look, when it comes to that, like, people that defend what he's saying, even if you defend what he's saying, you're like, no, he wasn't literally saying that. You got to know who you're speaking to. Like, one of the things about free speech is you might not be legally accountable for the things that we say, but morally we are. Morally we are. We know the people we're talking to. We know what the people that we're talking to are capable of. I would never in my life want to ever find out that somebody that I've ever said something to was ever willing to commit violence against another person for some ridiculous reason, and I would probably stop doing what I'm doing if I ever found out that they did, because you just, morally speaking, we gotta be better about that kind of stuff. I know. No. That's why I watched Lincoln Project, Adam, is because I say this on the show all the time. It's good to see Republicans holding Republicans accountable. And this is what I said. Adam, you give me hope. Lincoln Project gives me hope. I just think you guys need to find a new party, because I think that, it's like squatters. The Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the Lauren Boeberts of the world are squatting in your party, dude, and unfortunately the laws say that they can do it, and that now they own that shit. So I don't know what to say in that area as far as like what traditional moderate conservatives, Barry Goldwater conservatives, traditional Republicans. It just seems like the Freedom Caucus is squeezing you guys out of that party. It feels like that. All right. Oh man. Yeah, Lincoln Project is dope too. I mean, like I said, I might not agree with him policy wise. But that's okay. We don't have to. We got to get back to sanity. We got to get back to having discussions. We got to be able to talk to each other. But the Lauren Boeberts, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the party of Trump is the group of kids outside in the schoolyard that surround the two people that are about to fight, that yells, fight, fight, fight. Like, that's who they are. Now, did they incite the violence? Should they be held accountable for using their free speech? Probably not, right? But it doesn't make them any less culpable. Doesn't mean that as Americans you still shouldn't have some responsibility and accountability for your shit. So just keep that in mind. You got two kids that are sitting out there, and then they're not looking to fight, but you got a bunch of people around them that want to see it, that want to be entertained by it, that think that they're going to get some kind of real short-term reward gratification and get a little dopamine by watching the fight. That's who the party of Trump is right now, man. They're the kids standing around everybody yelling fight, egging people on. So don't forget that shit. Yeah, go to the basement, record in the video like a normal person. Ilhan Omar, I've looked at some of the stuff Ilhan Omar says. I'm not a huge fan. Same kind of thing goes for her. Like, she should be responsible for some of the stuff that she says. There's nothing illegal about what she says, but she should be accountable for the things that she says. Yeah, everybody. One of the readings I like about Joe Biden is Joe Biden doesn't say a lot of shit. And that's why I like Joe Biden. But everybody gives him a hard time because he doesn't say enough stuff. Do I think that he could say a little bit more? Yeah, he could get out there. He could give a speech or two more. He could reassure people that things are being done. He could do a lot better job of telling people about the stuff that he's accomplished. Fuck, I wish he would. But yeah, I mean, that goes for everybody. Everybody should be aware of how their words affect others and whether or not they're creating divisiveness. I mean, I sit up here, I make jokes, I mock people. I may, you know, that's who I am as a person, and I have to accept that that's who I am, and I have to be able to tell people, like, you know, like I say this multiple times on this show, some things are just jokes, some things I believe are true. You should research them, make sure that they are true. You should never take everything I say as the complete and total truth. I'm not infallible. I am not perfect. We have to be accountable for the shit that we do and the shit that we say. All right, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to my conservatives that come on here to push back against me, the Trents, the Adams. I'm super thankful for you guys. I know there's others of you guys that do it too. Tammy, I think that was your name, Tammy, for being on the left and pushing back against me. I appreciate that. I doubt Tammy is still here, but Tammy, if you are, I appreciate that you're on the left and you're pushing back against the things that I believe. I would like to see more people on the left push back against the things that I say to make sure that I'm not consistently, you know, in an echo chamber of sorts. So thank you for everything you guys do. I appreciate you guys. VJ, for sure, hit me up in the email. Like I said, don't be too concerned if I don't hit you back immediately, as you know, I'm a very busy person. But if you want to do something and you got the time for it, I'd be appreciative of any help I can get in that area. Next show tomorrow around 5 or 6 Pacific, I'm going to try and air my live episode of me and Richard Abel speaking. Richard Abel is a law professor at UCLA. We talk about autocracy and dictatorship and the concerns that Donald Trump brings for those kind of things. We talk a little bit about Donald Trump's trials, and we talk a lot about the books that he's written about it. He's written like 3 books, and I think he's written a 4th that's coming out soon. So that'll air tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then Monday, back on with the live stream, once again, around 5-ish. Maybe, actually, when I say 6 p.m. tomorrow, think 5. Actually, 5 Pacific is generally when I get on here and do these things. So 5 Pacific on Monday. And, yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the super sweet MAGA Meltdown video and why I think extreme Trump supporters are absolutely out of their fucking mind and deserve to be mocked, check out the MAGA Meltdown. Tell me what you think. And, yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. He hurts. It's over. Sorry. Pizza. What's up? Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you to everybody. Specifically, thank you to the mods, as always. Thank you for being here. Thanks a lot. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Get outside. Touch some grass. Get off YouTube. Love you guys. Bye.